Welcome to a special episode of Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
Fuck that up.
How did I fuck it up?
Well, you've got to do it thematically.
What?
Right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Weighing in at 196 pounds, we have Ellie Thunder Kempster!
Cool. Well, you fucked it up in that we cannot leave that bit in.
Why can't we leave that bit in?
You went for the biggest swear.
It's fine, that's what wrestling's all about.
I'm just going to beep it. Cool. This is a special episode because we've got a special guest on. Host of a dead podcast, Sam Pryor.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I feel touched and honoured. That podcast is dead and will not be.
I sort of founded on what to say. Emerging from the resurrection lake, Sam Pryor.
Hey everybody.
Hi Sam. Also, I'm here. I'm Liam Underwood. Just
Yeah, Liam's
in case we've got new listeners.
Your friend and co-host to the Nerd on Nerd that you missed out, which is quite rude and shocking.
So rude.
Doesn't really deserve it, but this is a podcast that we do.
Oh my god.
And it seems like it's the first time Ellie's done it.
This is episode 62.
Well, Liam usually says the next bit and it all went quiet.
Right, okay. Alright, sorry, listeners. We were trying to do this little bit with like a wrestling announcement thing because the culture swap that we're doing is WrestleMania. It's all gone to shit. I'm Liam Underwood. We've got Ellie Kempster. We've got a special guest, Sam Pryor, who recommended we do WrestleMania. We're going to find out why WrestleMania was recommended later. First, it's time for catching up with Ellie, Liam, and Sam. Fuck me.
Well done,
What have you been up to, Liam?
I went to Canada.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had. So this episode, is it a bit later than usual?
Yeah, this episode was meant to go up the Monday before we're recording.
It's not really
But
good
also,
enough, is it?
WrestleMania only happened on Sunday, didn't it?
On Sunday, yeah.
So, okay. Part of the reason why this is so late is because I was off in Canada having a very good time on a little like family holiday with me, my mum, her partner, and Kat, my girlfriend.
Oh, that's nice. What did you do?
It was we skied. Well, so Kat hadn't really done skiing before. We found out she doesn't really like it, but I love it.
Admittedly, that's a shit time to discover you don't like skiing, is sort of on a skiing holiday.
But when else would you learn that?
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the worst time really is when you're up a mountain and you're looking down going, fuck, how do I get down?
Did that happen to Kat? Or did she get down? Oh,
It did, right? But I took up like the shortest one I could possibly find. So she didn't have too far to walk down when she took her skis off.
Oh, Kat.
But, okay, so Kat didn't like it. That doesn't matter. I loved it. It was amazing. I had such a good time. I forgot, because... So the whole reason why we did this is because this was like my reward, if you will, for turning 30. Like I survived 30 years.
It's like a consolation prize.
Yeah, my mum went, here's a present for getting to 30. Well done. And it's all very nice because like when I was growing up, like when I was like sort of teenager, me and my mum used to go to Canada skiing together a lot. I say a lot, like once a year for about 5 years or so.
I like that you think once a year isn't a lot.
No, it is a lot, but I mean, a lot could also be misread as more than that.
Could I just say that I've never met Liam in person. I've only heard his voice through the medium of podcast, and I think that's about it. It surprises me that you ski.
Yeah, I think it would surprise most people because it's a sport, and I don't do sport.
Oh, well, to be fair to you, Liam, you don't do sport, but you do try to do sport.
Yeah, that's the key.
Listeners may remember
and everyone likes a tryer.
Liam, you once attempted American football.
Yep.
Got hurt.
Yep, didn't go well.
Me and you have tried racquetball.
Or squash.
Now, I can't even imagine you, Ellie, doing
that was back in my
sport.
Uni days, Sam, where I had just come back from Borneo and at least looked like I could maybe try and do sports.
I took about 50 pictures of the occasion.
I was back in Borneo. I lost a ton of weight in Borneo, Sam.
Yeah, but you've never been the most energetic of people.
How dare you?
No, I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
All right, fair.
Hence why I took 50 pictures of us doing squash, because I thought this is never happening again.
It's a good idea, to be fair.
I mean, we've thrown the old pigskin around as well.
Yeah, that was literally like a father and son moment, but with me and you.
It was awful. It was not good at all.
Which one was
but
which?
Yeah,
I've always pictured myself as the sort of disappointed child of Liam.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But you're disappointed in me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah, like how some kids turn up on like bring your dad to work day, all that sort of stuff, to school day. You know, what the kids in America do. Yeah. I've always sort of pictured I'd be me and you if I turned up with you. I'd be like the kid that is like my dad's. You know, picks chewing gum off of the street and doesn't technically get paid for it.
Makes sense. So anyway, I haven't skied in like 10 years, so I wasn't sure if I'd even still like it or how much of it I'd remember, if I'd be good at it. Turns out I love it, and I didn't fall over once in the whole sort of 10 days I was out there. Although it wasn't 10 skiing days, it was like 7. It was 7 skiing days. But I was pleased with that, not falling over.
Well done.
I mean, yeah, I've never skied, so I don't know if that's impressive. I assume it is.
It's so much fun. I was practicing skiing on one leg as well, which was a lot of fun.
Is that a thing people do?
It helps if you're trying to learn things like balance. So let's say you're skiing normally and then you hit like a big lump with one leg. If you're quite confident at skiing on one leg, that's not going to freak you out. Whereas, so it's just about kind of building up confidence, really.
Got you.
Did you ever switch legs? Because if you didn't, did you end up with a really massive leg at the end of it?
Do you mean like trying to hop from one to the other, or just? Because I never tried hopping.
Whenever you were just skiing on one leg, was it just the same leg all the time? And now you've got like a really muscular leg?
No, I was practicing both.
Okay.
I found I do have like a stronger leg when it comes to like doing turns and stuff with skiing, so I was practicing on the weaker one to try and get that better.
Honestly, mate, this sounds shit because you're too professional about it.
I'm not. The thing is, right, that sounds good. I'm not that good at skiing, really. I can just... Because I enjoy it a lot, I just get on with it.
It sounds... I guess it would be fun. I've never done it.
This is the
fact that it's 7 days out of 10 days, that to me, that's a lot of dedication to it. Like, if I went on a skiing holiday with friends for 10 days and I got out there and they were like, we're going to be doing this for 7 days, even if I liked it, I think I'd be like, that's too much.
Honestly, it's so much fun, though.
I can imagine it is really fun, but
this is the problem.
I'm too lazy.
Right, well, the other thing is, so like people my age, like people that I know, don't really do skiing, and it's a real hard thing to convince them to try, because just trying it is quite expensive, because you have to like get certain gear so that you're not freezing cold or hating it.
Yeah,
it's not a cheap thing to just have a go at.
But it's an indoor ski place, isn't it? In the UK?
Yeah, there's one in Hemel Hempstead, but even that's quite expensive.
Oh, again.
Yeah. It's also not great.
No.
But yeah, so basically, I love it. Kat doesn't like it, so now I'm like, I need to find people to ski with, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean...
I think this is where you step up, Ellie, and offer to go skiing with Liam.
No, fuck no.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because, look, here's the thing, Ellie.
Yeah.
I got Kat down that one that she didn't enjoy. So you can trust me to help. So, like, the role that I take with skiing, so the first 3 days, Kat went off and had private lessons, and it was just me skiing with my mum and her other half, who's Ian, just because that will make life easier when telling this story. So Ian would
Hello,
ski
Ian,
first
if you're
to kind
listening.
of lead. He won't be. Ian would ski first to lead the way, then my mum would go, who's not a very confident skier, and then I'd go last, because often my mum would fall over, and I'd have to go and like help get her up, collect her skis for her and her poles. So what I'm basically saying, Ellie, is if you come with me, I'll kind of help. I'm quite good at helping at skiing.
I mean, I've experienced
like when you
your
fall
help
over
before.
When you fall over, I will pick up the pieces.
I mean, I just don't want to particularly go skiing.
Am I not selling it?
Not really.
No. But yeah, I loved it. And then, so on the days off, we did husky dogs, so like sled riding. Cool. Yeah, we had to go at kind of mushing, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And then we did a helicopter ride across the Rockies, which was really cool. That was one day off, and then the other day off, we just did like a little tour around Banff. It was meant to be a wildlife tour. We saw 4 deer, and that was it. So I wasn't massively impressed with the wildlife.
It was a wildlife tour?
Yep. It was a wildlife / history of Banff, which is where we were staying. Now, I'd already done that tour like 10 years ago when I've been with my mum, so it's kind of like just a refresher course for me. But Kat really enjoyed it.
The local expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you that guy on holiday, Liam? The one that like turns up, you've been there once 10 years ago, and you're like, oh, Banff. Let me just tell you.
Right, here's the thing. We'd gone there 5 times. So I'd been there 5 times before.
Yeah, that's still not enough. You aren't an expert.
No, I'm not, but
5 times, and the last time was 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so things, I'm guessing, changed in those 10 years?
Yeah, all the animals fucked off.
Yeah. Except for the stubborn deer.
The last time we went, we accidentally found 2 herds of elk and got stuck between them on a golf course, which was fun. This time, didn't see a single elk.
Oh, that's a shame.
And we saw like otters last time. We saw a bald eagle. None of that this time. Never seen a bear though.
I was trying to think of a joke then, but nothing really came to mind. That's a
barefaced
lie. Way!
Hey!
Way! Basically, I love Canada. I love the holiday, and I was super depressed when I came back because everything is shit. I also figured out that I quite like doing active things, and then I got back and I was like, oh, now I'm back to my life of just watching films and TV, and this is really unfulfilling.
Well, so you should go and do active stuff then.
Yeah, but that, like, okay, when you've got like the Rockies to go and just like go on hikes and go through trails and stuff, that's exciting and fun. Yeah, there's trails in Chichester, but they're not like you're trekking through fucking mountains and shit.
Go to Wales.
I'm not going to go to Wales just so I can have a nice little walk.
Go to the New Forest.
Go to the New Forest.
Where's that?
Oh my God, Liam.
Did you say where's that?
Put it this way, it's not on my doorstep.
It's pretty near you.
Yeah, it's really near you.
I've never been.
Right, Liam, you can't complain about how shit the English countryside is if the only thing you've ever walked down is Chichester trails.
I can complain because there's no mountains.
There are in Wales.
Well, they're not the same.
Scotland? I know that's a bit further away, but you could drive up to Scotland.
You can do skiing in Scotland as well.
There you go, look at that.
But again, I need to find people to do it with.
Well, you could go alone.
Rather not. What if I actually fall over for once and hurt myself? Because that's what I'm thinking. Because it's been so long since I've fallen over now, when I do fall over, it's going to be bad.
Is that how it works?
I think so.
Okay, sorry, you're storing up.
I've just done a quick Google map search, and Chichester is 40 minutes away from the New Forest.
Oh.
You should go to the New Forest, Liam. I think if you like hiking, you'd probably enjoy the New Forest.
Yeah, especially now the weather's getting a little bit more nicer.
Yeah, seriously. I'll come down one weekend and we'll go on a little hike in the New Forest.
Perfect. That can be like a Ellie and Liam try new things.
But I like going on walks in the countryside. I don't do it very often, but I like it. It's
fun.
I've
got actual like walking shoes now, so I'm ready.
Look at you.
You go to New Forest Wildlife Park while you're there. See some otters and stuff.
Sounds good.
We should point out at this point that Sam always works with animals and knows a lot about animals and places to see animals. That's like Sam's speciality.
That's good to know. What's the most dangerous British animal?
Well, that is a question for you. Well, the largest land carnivore that we've got is the badger.
I thought it was.
Yeah, but that's just weight-wise.
Are they dangerous?
I mean, if they bit you, it would hurt quite a lot, but they're probably unlikely to because they only come out at night and are quite shy.
Are they quite scratchy because they got claws?
They do have claws, and I imagine if you did pick one up, it would try and scratch and bite, and they've got, like I said, very strong bites and probably do quite a lot of damage to them.
Has anyone ever been killed by a badger?
Not that I know of.
Okay. This conversation is honestly giving me such an amazing look into like child Liam as he's sitting in like nursery with all the other kids around him and they're just trying to talk about like all the donkeys and nice animals and Liam's like, can badgers kill people?
I mean, I hope the one thing people take away from this episode is that they don't go out and try and pick up badgers.
Yeah, I mean, no one should try to pick up badgers.
We're doing a public service here.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's possible.
You've picked up a badger?
Is it going to end with you picking up a badger?
No. I hate horses, and I've been kicked by a horse before. Now, they're pretty dangerous. If they kick you in the head, I know that's definitely caused a death.
Yeah, they can kill you.
Yeah, they could.
So would you say a horse is more dangerous than a badger, is my question.
I would probably say yes, because, I mean, if you're riding a horse and you fall off, you could hurt yourself or die. You know, one of those two things.
What if you were riding a badger?
Yeah, I mean...
that is something I would like to see.
Me... Right, a little story time. Where
oh my God.
Gather round.
We've gone so off topic, but go on, Liam.
Where we used
Tell
to
us
live,
your story.
Down the road from us, there was this field, and it had like sort of wild horses. And I was trying to impress a girl once. So I took her to go look at the horses, and we took some apples, and there were 3 horses, and I fed the first one an apple out of my palm, being very careful to keep my fingers away from its teeth.
Smart man.
And that horse was so happy. It was like, cheers, mate. I'm really chuffed with that. Then I fed it to the second horse, and the second horse was also really happy. And then I went to feed the third horse, and it kind of looked at the apple, looked at me, turned around and kicked me in the leg really hard, which made me go from a standing position to straight on my arse. And the girl I was with was not at all impressed.
Well, there's one for the memoirs.
I'm just saying, like, you try and do a nice thing for a horse, and that's how they repay you. I don't understand why horses are looked upon so fondly. I think they're shit.
I'm not a massive horse fan, to be honest with you.
Good.
I like horses,
Nah,
but
fuck off.
But I think it's because of the fact that a horse could kick the shit out of you.
So they've earned your respect.
Exactly. Especially with that story. Now I know horses can look into the souls of people and see true evil and know to stamp on it.
1 in 3 horses can.
1 in 3 horses has true sight.
And that's good enough for me.
Anyway, so to kind of get this back on track, Canada was amazing, but the real story is when we got back, so I had to like spend a couple of days at my mum's looking after the dog for her. Then we finally got back home. It had been 2 weeks. Cat goes to bed, and this is the first time it's ever happened in our nearly 8-year relationship, I want to say. She caught me wanking.
Oh.
Because obviously it'd been like 2 weeks. So I was so excited.
Sorry, you didn't wank out there?
No, because I didn't get Liam time to do that.
Just go into the bathroom.
Nah, I like to, set the mood. So
oh God.
she's gone to bed. I'm downstairs, and because it's been so long, I'm really like making a meal of it.
Oh, I can only imagine what she walked in on.
Well, that's the thing.
Candles.
It was sudden, and
3
also
monitors.
A bit of Barry
so
White.
I was also. I had the jet lag as well, so I just wasn't at all sleepy. So it's like 4 a.m. and I hear like her on the steps, and it's way too late. So she just kind of basically comes down to me, like in the front room on the sofa, like a little gremlin. Yes. And there was no way of defending it. I just went, it's been 2 weeks. And she was like, oh, I went because you went in bed. I was worried, and I was like, nah, go back to bed. I've got stuff to do.
Was it one of those awkward moments where you were able to either tuck your dick back in, so you were just sitting there watching porn, or did you turn the porn off quickly and then you're just sitting there with your dick out?
That was exactly right. That was exactly right. It was a choice between the two, and I went for turning the porn off.
See, I find that weirder.
That's a good decision. The thing, Sam, that you've got to know about Liam is he shows his dick to Kat on a regular basis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not normally
sorry, that made it sound like, they're always those two. Oh, sex mad. No, Liam just shows his dick to Kat.
Yeah.
For no reason.
But normally it's when it's tiny. I don't get it up and then show her. So it's unusual for her to just come down and me be like, look at that.
It's actually the first time Kat's ever seen Liam with a boner.
Yeah.
They have a weird 8-year relationship.
Yeah.
It seems
she
I'll
wasn't
be honest.
impressed, I don't think. She did mention it the next day, and she was like, I was just worried when you went in bed, and I was like, shouldn't have been.
I honestly do love the image of you just desperately shutting tons of tabs, closing all the different browsers you've got open.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just going, that's the thing to do. Because the other thing, right, what you don't want is her to come down and I don't look at weird porn, but I don't want to see what I do look at. Not because it's weird, I just don't want that conversation of
I think listeners would be surprised to know how vanilla you are.
Oh, it's so vanilla.
I was going to say, that makes me wonder what you were watching.
This is the thing, Sam. It will just be like...
It was just cam girls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just cam girls.
Really?
Always cam girls.
Yeah. And I don't even like talking to them. That's weird. I just like watching.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I know.
The way you phrased it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's creepy anyway, but if you take away the porn factor of it as well. So I don't even like talking to them. I just watch.
I just watch.
I just watch, and I wait for people to give them money so they actually do stuff. I like the anticipation, I think.
Waiting in the wings. I like it.
Yeah, because I hate it when so when there's an attractive cam girl, but she's already naked. To me, you're jumping ahead of the meal. You're having your dessert before you've earned it. So I like to see one that's attractive but wearing stuff, and then it takes a bit of time for people to like give her the money to get naked and start doing stuff. I don't know why.
I'm realising when I said that Liam was vanilla, what I actually meant was he's into vanilla stuff, but the things that he does are weird.
I think he's making the most of a vanilla situation.
Exactly. That's a nice way of putting it.
You're like the kinkiest vanilla person.
Yeah. And despite being rudely interrupted, after 2 weeks, it was still very glorious.
What would have been more awkward is if the moment Kat burst in on you, you had finished, and then realised that was your fetish.
I think it would be
being burst in on.
It would be more awkward if she walked in and he was mid-finishing.
Yeah, where you sort of lock eyes, but it's too late to stop.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been... I'm pleased that didn't happen. But, you know, the thing is, I've done such a good job of keeping that, like, quite private. So for that to be the first time in 8 years for her to walk in, I'm a little bit disappointed that streak has ended.
Yeah, but I mean, Kat knows that you're a...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't keep it, like, hidden.
No, I mean, you are the person that once wrote the pornographic version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, but I inserted...
I think I've seen that film.
Oh, not the one I wrote. This was Liam and the Seven Dwarfs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had that on a front door or something, on the living room door.
You posted it. You stuck it up on your living room door, so everyone that was round your house had to read it.
Yep.
I'm assuming in that story the dwarfs were women?
Yeah, but they were still dwarfs.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I just wasn't sure if you still had 7 male dwarves and you. But
No,
I'm not one to judge. It's 2018.
And they still had characteristics, like the sleepy one, or keeping her awake was difficult. Anyway, moving on.
We don't need to go into it.
I've only got one other, like, update with my catching
Oh,
up
good,
with
because it's
life.
only been half an hour.
Exactly. Well, I've got a lot to fill you in on, haven't I?
Oh, for fuck's sake, go on.
Obviously. So, listeners of the last show might have heard me talking about, like, my personal trainer and my gym and all that sort of stuff that I do. Yeah. Just a slight update. Went back to the gym yesterday. I put headphones in, and I've got these like wireless Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
And I get my phone out, get to Spotify. I'm like, what's gonna really pump me up for this this treadmill session I'm about to embark on? Taylor Swift, perfect. And Welcome to New York starts playing, and I start my jog. I'm like, it's a bit quiet, so I hit the volume up button on the headphones. Nothing's really changing, so I'm a bit confused. Take the headphone out. The music's playing out of my phone, not my headphones. So everyone in the gym can hear me listening to Taylor Swift. I forgot to sync like the headphones to the phone.
It's such a good story. I love it.
I think there's probably worse things you could be listening to.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely worse.
I mean, it's between that or the High School Musical playlist that I've got, so it could have been worse.
Yeah, yes, it could have been.
Yeah. What was your... How did you solve this problem? Because to me, that is a problem that you need to solve, as in, I need to get the fuck out of this gym.
No. Okay, so what I did is I very quickly connected the headphones, carried on listening, and I just didn't look up for about 15 minutes. I just looked sort of down.
That's the problem. He was embarrassed and he was trying to run away, but it was a treadmill, so...
Yeah,
but he
couldn't get very far.
But he got a new personal best.
Yeah, the problem is, I listened to one song and then my headphones went out of battery.
And then you played the other songs out loud?
Oh, I wish I had the audacity to do that.
You should have just turned around and gone, you've already heard it. Let's all listen together.
Yeah.
Bang. Shake it off.
Yeah, just so awkward. Because, you know, there was a lot of like quite burly men around and I don't think they were particularly impressed. Put it this way, I don't think I've integrated myself as one of them in the gym.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going to happen now.
You didn't manage to Gorillas of the Mist. Gorillas of the Mist? I have no idea what that documentary's called.
Gorillas in the Mist, I think.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. See, Sam's good at animals.
Gorillas of the Mist.
Yeah, like mist gorillas.
Of course.
Whatever. You didn't ingratiate yourself into the bodybuilder men culture.
Oh, no. They probably think of me as like a slug.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. So that's everything that I've done.
Oh, good.
I've been busy.
You have.
I've done some stuff. Sam,
yeah, but come on, we should surely let our special guest go next.
Well, no, because mine's short, so I'm gonna let Sam round off the section.
Oh, thank you.
All right. What
I'm sure he's got some amazing stories.
Not really.
Not a lot's happened to me in the past 3 weeks. I think it is maybe longer.
I think it's 4.
Possibly 4. So a month. Not a lot's happened, but I did have a sort of I don't know, annoying experience, which was, I don't know if you know this, Liam, specifically, but I co-host a podcast called Nerd on Nerd.
I know where this is going.
I was left with one main job. I had a couple of little jobs. I didn't really do the Twitter, but I sort of popped on there to make sure people were talking. I don't really do Twitter. People know that. But one of my jobs was I was going to edit an episode to go live while my good friend was away in Canada. And my dickhead co-host forgot to send over his audio, which we had deliberately rush recorded. And that meant that the last episode was up really late, listeners. So I just wanted to apologise to you all and say, blame Liam.
Well,
that's me done.
That took a turn.
It was my fault. Hands up, I'll admit it. I forgot to send my audio over to Ellie. And I was so busy having fun out in Canada that I don't really care.
No, yeah, I didn't think you did.
At least he's honest. What more can you ask?
Exactly. Look, I mean, I could ask for a co-host that sends his audio files, but
here's the thing: they got the episode in the end, so it's not like they missed out. I was also, while away on holiday, loving life and enjoying myself. I was keeping an eye on Twitter, making sure you weren't up to mischief. And I noticed that we weren't exactly inundated with people going, "Oh, where's the latest episode? Oh, we missed Nerd on Nerd. Oh, we really want the next episode."
We're never inundated with anything.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
Exactly.
So I didn't. Because that really what you've done there. You just waited for me to send you audio.
I can't think of anything. There's probably tons of other stuff, but I don't remember any of it. Sam.
Oh, hello.
What have you been up to?
Well,
just in life in general, mate.
I was going to say, this is the first time I've been on this episode. Do I start at my birth?
Yeah, give us how was birth for you?
I'll be honest, I don't really remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
Try harder.
I'll try harder. I went to Forbidden Planet last weekend.
How was that?
Yeah, without you.
Was that? Yeah, without Ellie. Good. I'm pleased that you still got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like the whole thing was going to cancel if I didn't go.
I went with Palmer instead, who I believe has been a guest multiple times on this show.
Yeah, and I think if you had the choice between Ellie or Palmer, you made the right choice there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because Palmer was with me anyway, so I didn't have to wait for Ellie being late or anything like that.
No.
That's only happened once.
Do you recall the time where we went to the zoo and you were late and we missed certain areas because they closed it because you were late?
I didn't close it because I was late.
I'm pretty sure they did. But yeah, we got Shake Shack as well, which was pretty good.
Is that like healthy juice drinks?
No.
Oh,
or Shake Shack?
It's very unhealthy milkshakes.
Milkshakes.
What am I thinking of?
And burgers. I've got those.
How the fuck are we meant to know what you're thinking of, Liam?
Thought you might.
No, unfortunately not. I've been working.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. We've been watching a few...
Hosting any podcasts?
Hosting any podcasts?
Hosting any podcasts, Sam?
No. Haven't done that in for about a year, actually.
Has it actually been a year?
Nearly, yeah. How time flies.
Oh.
Oh well, it's alright. I'm hoping that after the success of this episode, I'll have my own spin-off show, and I'll call it.
I think so. It could be
Sam on
Animal
Sam.
Facts.
Sam on Sam is a good show.
Or Animal Facts, either one. But I'm hiring. If there's any podcast companies hiring, no, I'm available. That's what I was going to say.
You're hiring? Holy shit! You're putting money behind this thing.
I really am. Yeah, Sam on Sam spin-off.
Bold move.
I mean, I do have a lottery ticket in my wallet.
We're willing to sell ourselves.
Yeah. If you're hiring, we'll ditch this show in a second.
Yeah. I'll call it Nerd on Sam.
Perfect.
I think it flows. It flows tremendously well. Yeah, pretty boring couple of weeks, unfortunately.
Welcome to the club, Sam.
Yep. I did not go to Canada.
We didn't... No.
Well, I can highly recommend it.
I mean, it would be nice to go.
Yeah, I've been like a bunch of times.
Yeah, 5 times, Liam. We know, and you haven't been
but I
10
also went
years.
to Toronto, hello, didn't I? Because I was in that long distance relationship online.
Oh yeah,
with a
I
Canadian.
remember that.
So I went to Toronto like 3 times as well.
As a animal fan and soon to be host of my own spin-off show, Animal Facts. Did you see any wildlife in Canada, Liam? I don't think we've covered Canada enough.
What time?
The second.
The second time, I believe it was mostly just elk. That's sort of the recurring animal that I see, apart from the most recent time when I didn't see any.
fascinating.
I once saw a wolverine out there as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've only seen wolverines in zoos.
Oh, this one was dragging a dead deer across a mountain.
Dragging a dead... How big are wolverines?
Not very big.
It wasn't the entire deer is the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was picturing like a small, furry, badger-like creature.
Wait, you know how big a honey badger is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much same size.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, this wasn't...
Yeah, that would be fucking impressive if it was dragging a full-on...
No, it was like half of a deer.
Okay.
And there was
That's
like
still quite impressive.
Big stream of blood.
Delightful.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy to talk about animals more if we want. Not necessarily Canadian ones, but like, what's the most exotic animal we've seen not in a zoo? All of us.
Oh, not in a zoo. Probably some kind of lizard when you go to like Spain or something like that, and then you see them crawling all over the walls.
Oh yeah. They're freaky when like the first time you see them, and then you just get used to it.
And then you're like, oh god, it's like flies. You just flap them away.
Yeah.
They swarm you.
Yes.
I saw orangutans in Borneo.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh god, go on about
we saw
Borneo.
a lot of like... Yeah. Liam got to talk about Canada. Borneo's literally the only time I got to do like any crazy cool exotic stuff.
That is true.
Orangutans are cool. Let's not talk about animals because it turns out it's a dead-end topic where we all just sort of sit in silence thinking about animals.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of zoos, not seen much in the wild.
I think
Sam has been bitten by a lemur though.
I have been bitten by a lemur, yes.
How did that happen?
In my previous job as a zookeeper, I was feeding the lemurs, and we had one lemur in particular who could get quite aggressive at times, and I was putting her food down. She decided to bite me. And it turns out lemurs have very sharp teeth, and if you pull away from the bite, it just makes things worse.
See, so like, I've met... Well, on the podcast, I've met a couple of Eddie's friends, and like I've spoken to a couple, I've met a couple, I've heard of a couple, and it sounds
Why did you say that like that?
It sounds like you've just like you have like you left that school and just went into jobs that like you would find in like children's books. Like you became like a zookeeper, one became a farmer.
I am now a farmer as well.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anyone that does that.
And the one that was a farmer is becoming a postman.
Yeah.
What?
Childhood jobs.
Like they're literally like the sort of things that you would find in kids' books.
Yeah, we just need a fireman and an astronaut, and we're sorted.
Yeah.
When I am older, I want to be a postman.
I wanted to be an author when I was a child.
Did you?
Yeah. I got in trouble once at school because I was big into like Goosebumps and then Point Horror, and I was really inspired by the cover of one of the Point Horror books. So I wrote a short story in my school book about how these clowns kidnapped and murdered my nan, and I couldn't do anything to save her. Jesus Christ. My teacher was concerned reading this because it was quite graphic, and she had to get my mum in the school to have a little word about how things are going at home.
Fucking hell, Liam.
Which was a bit awkward.
Nicely
I
done.
feel so bad for your mum.
Why?
Because you're like the worst curse a parent could have.
Whoa.
Just a bit
no,
mean.
but like in the fact that everything is actually fine.
Yeah.
But Liam, I can imagine that childhood Liam would concern a lot of people.
Adult Liam does.
Yeah. That did sound a lot meaner than I meant it to sound when I said that.
Yeah, it's a
fine.
curse on
It's
his mother.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to end catching up with.
My bad.
And possibly your friendship as well.
Yeah.
No, we've said worse to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Liam.
Yeah.
It's time for your favourite part of the show.
Oh, yes.
Liam's been to the cinema, and here are the spoiler-free reviews of the things that he saw at the cinema.
Yes. So, despite being in like this depressed funk at how everything in the UK is shit and isn't as good as Canada.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I honestly, I haven't watched a single film at home since getting back. But...
Really?
Yeah.
That's unusual for you.
So when we get to the whole like, oh, how many films does Liam still have to watch? It's not good.
Oh, yeah.
Not good. It's definitely gone up because films were arriving while I was away, and I bought a couple more as well.
What? We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
get to it.
But I did go to the cinema, and I watched. Let's do the TV show first.
Okay.
So, do you remember when we had Lee as a special guest, and I made like a deal with him where if he would watch a TV show that I recommended, I'd watch one that he recommended.
Uh-huh.
So I recommended to him Atypical, which he watched and loved. He recommended to me The OA, so I watched that I watched half of it on the plane flight out there, and then half on the plane flight back. Side note, this is just way off topic to this review of the TV show, but on the plane, they had little games that you could play with other people on the plane.
Yeah, we've been on a plane like that.
It's amazing.
Did we do that, Sam? Was that because I vaguely remember Palmer trying to do that with everyone?
We definitely had it when we went to Vegas, but you didn't come to that.
No.
Because when we went to Vegas as well, you had like a chat thing in the headset.
I want to go to Vegas.
Talk to different seats.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you guys talking about that. I remember playing some game where you were trying to fit shapes into like you had a shape that was like, say, a bird, and then you had a bunch of squares and triangles that you were trying to put in. And I remember playing that on a plane. And
I do remember that actually. Yeah,
I feel like it was like maybe on one of our Gran Canaria, possibly, or it would be one of those, I imagine. Bulgaria, maybe.
Palmer didn't come Bulgaria.
No, that's true. He didn't. That is a good point, Sam.
Anyway, I got cat addicted to this game where you'd have a bunch of letters and you had to make up different words using those letters, and whoever made up like the most words kind of wins.
Okay, yeah.
And you get more points for longer words, that sort of thing. She got horrendously addicted to that. There was also a trivia game where at one point, so you could set your own nickname, and someone on the flight joined as Kinky Kelly.
That is a bold nickname to go with on a plane.
Yeah, I was just disappointed that they didn't have their seat number.
Oh, Liam,
I'll be honest, when we went to Vegas, there were a lot worse names than that I don't think I can repeat on this family-friendly show.
Oh, it's not family-friendly. I said thunder at the beginning.
He did.
But I think Ellie knows me well enough that we can't repeat what was
Yeah,
said.
no. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Wait, what?
I'll explain to you later, Liam. I'll explain to you when you're all grown up.
I am all grown up. I'm desperate to know.
Tell us about this OA show that you watched, Liam.
Oh, yeah. So the OA. Right, I'm a little bit scared about Lee.
Oh, did you not like it?
It's not that. It's just... So Lee recommended this probably like nearly a year ago, would we say?
Yeah, probably around then.
Yeah. Scarily sort of... what's the word? Like seeing into the future. What's the word for that?
Precognition?
Sort of, I guess. In that, so one of the characters is transgender.
Right.
And another one, blind.
Oh my god.
That's like you two.
So,
my god.
I was a bit freaked out.
That's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I'm like, wait. And then Lee recommended this before Lee knew about those things. So maybe Lee is a bit of a devil?
Maybe he's a witch and he's cursed us.
That's what I'm wondering.
Oh my god.
The show itself is really good. So basic premise is a girl who had gone missing 7 years ago returns home. When she went missing, she was blind. Now she's not.
Okay.
And it's kind of about... She's essentially telling a story of what happened to these people in her hometown who, like, just this like ragtag bunch that she's assembled. That happens in the first episode. It's not massive spoilers. And it's just... There's a bit of a mystery to it. They're doing a second season, so there's like a few things that they haven't quite wrapped up.
Okay.
But it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It has. So have you both seen the American version of The Office?
Yeah.
Bits. I wasn't really a fan of The Office, so I didn't bother.
Okay, that's fine. You know Phyllis in it?
I do.
No.
She's in this, and she's like actually acting, and is really good.
Oh, okay.
In The Office, she doesn't really have a lot of acting to do.
No.
In this, she's great. You've got Britt Marling, who plays the main character. She was in like some indie films. She kind of sometimes gets... I think she was in like a movie that people sometimes say is a bit mumblecore-y.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but she was good. Like, it's also got Scott Wilson in it, who was Herschel in The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
So lots of like familiar faces. Oh, and Jason Isaacs, he's in it as well. Who, Ellie, you're gonna know as Draco's dad in Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah.
He's in loads of stuff, but I figured that's probably... He's also in Star Trek Discovery.
Is he?
Yeah, Captain Gabriel Lorca.
Oh, holy shit, is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Holy shit, you've just blown my mind.
Yeah, he's in loads of stuff. Anyway, the OA, really good. I I kind of wished I watched it on a telly instead of like an iPad, but the iPad was like a Pro, so it's like the biggest screen I could possibly get onto a plane. But it is quite a cinematic show, so if you're interested in watching it, either of you, I'd say try and do it on a TV.
Okay. I'm definitely interested in watching it. It sounded good when Lee told us about it.
Yeah, it is good. I would give it 4 out of 5, and I'm really excited that they're doing a second season to see kind of what happens next, because something happens in the last episode that I'm obviously not going to talk about, but some people responded really badly to it online, and it's just got me really interested. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's good. Give it a go. Thank you for the recommendation, Lee. Sorry it took me nearly a year to get to it.
Better late than never.
Exactly. I got there in the end.
And now people could go back into the old episodes and find the episode where you were talking to Lee and dig that one out for a nice little treat.
They really could. If we were better at what we do, we'd be able to tell them what episode number that was.
Don't say we.
That is a joint fault of ours. It's not just me that
you were the one that knew
there.
You'd watched the OA. I didn't.
Yeah, and you think I'm going to, like, prepare.
That's not what I'm saying. Whatever.
If I recall, that was episode 34.
Did we have Leon after Jason?
Yeah.
Alright, hang on.
Oh god, you don't actually have to...
Yeah, it was episode 47.
Oh, so close.
That was very close, Sam.
So yeah, the OA 4 out of 5. That's the end of that bit.
Yep, okay.
I saw a movie.
Yeah, what movie did you see, Liam?
I saw Isle of Dogs.
I'm interested in seeing this, because I feel like you maybe have to go and watch Wes Anderson films.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like there's a pressure to go and watch them. I don't know why.
Have you seen any other Wes Anderson films?
Yeah. Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yep.
And Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
And maybe one of his other ones.
Royal Tenenbaums, maybe?
I haven't seen that one. I know that's like his big one, right?
That's the one that I really like, and I don't really like Wes Anderson. Moonrise Kingdom?
No.
No?
Don't worry about it. We don't need to figure it out. It's fine.
Okay. Sam, have you seen any Wes Anderson films?
I have seen Grand Budapest Hotel, and that is it, as far as I'm aware.
What did you both think of that film?
We actually saw it together, I think.
We did, yeah. I don't remember hating it, but I don't think we came out loving it, did we?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I didn't expect to like it. I think that's why it kind of looked quite not my kind of film. But it kind of intrigued me enough to go and see it. And then I really enjoyed it. More so than I thought I would.
See, I really struggle with Wes Anderson. I've seen all of his films. And the issue, I don't like films where the filmmaker, especially with Wes Anderson, you're so aware of his presence. It constantly feels like he's just tapping me on the shoulder going, look at this film I made. Look, everything's in the centre of the frame, and it's all pastel colours, and it's the same actors that I put in all of my films. And I did that. I did it. Oh, look, the soundtrack's quite twee. Oh, look, the editing there, that's what I'm known for doing. And I just hate constantly being reminded that it's his film, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying.
Because it takes me out of the film and the story that the film's trying to tell.
But then, is this another one of those issues where it's like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of your fault?
Possibly.
Because like, a filmmaker having a style, I know that his is an example of like a very extreme style in that you
it does my nut in.
You could see Wes Anderson films without knowing who it was and be like, I would be like, this feels like a Wes Anderson film.
Yeah. I think the problem as well is because I don't really like his style, it makes me then super aware that I'm constantly being forced to see it, sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
However,
I don't like when people say, oh, you need to watch that film because it's a Wes Anderson film. Or any director for that matter. You should want to go see the film because it looks good, not just because...
Not because of who did it.
Yeah, a famous director did.
Yeah. Like, I'll be like lenient towards certain directors if I've seen like a lot of their stuff that I like say like Christopher Nolan or Kevin Smith or someone.
Yeah.
Like Dunkirk on paper, probably not my sort of film, but because it was Chris Nolan, I was like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because I struggle with Wes Anderson anyway, I did have high hopes for Isle of Dogs because I really enjoyed Fantastic Mr. Fox, and they're both these like stop motion animation things.
And the trailer sort of has that Fantastic Mr. Fox feel to it.
Exactly. I normally struggle with stop motion animation, to be honest, so it was a surprise that I liked Fantastic Mr. Fox. I really did. Isle of Dogs, So the animation is good. Like, I can't really complain with that. Yeah, it's sort of Wes Anderson doing his little Wes Anderson things that he does. Yeah. I just didn't really like the story.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, in the last maybe half an hour, when they're starting to, like, wrap up all of the story strands and they're kind of, like, finishing the plot, I just didn't care. And I was just kind of bored. And that's not good. So
no, that is a pretty damning thing to say of a film.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the cast that did the voices. Like, you had like Bill Murray, Bryan Cranston, Jeff Goldblum, or Goldblum. How do you guys say that?
Goldblum?
I say Goldblum. Yeah.
Cool. Like Edward Norton. Like, a lot of Scarlett Johansson as well. She's great. A lot of, like, big names. Just disappointing. I gave it like 2.5 out of 5, but it's a low 2.5, and I think it only got above a 2 just because the animation is quite impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a film I'd recommend, and I don't understand why I'm seeing so much, like, rave reviews for it.
Well, I mean, it might just be a case that it's not your thing.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. I don't get how people aren't bored by the story in the same way that I was.
But like you say, if you're going in with like I don't like his style.
But I was so hopeful because of Fantastic Mr. Fox. I was so hopeful.
Yeah, but being hopeful is different to, like, going in being like, I don't like him, I don't like his style.
Fair enough. Amanda's going to be really mad at me, by the way, because, like, Wes Anderson's her favourite director, and I think he's a piece of shit. So, moving on. Right, so this is... So, I had 6 different things to choose from, and I'm only allowed... Oh, no, 7 things, sorry. And I'm only allowed to do 3 because Ellie's a bitch. Yep. So, I've deliberately picked one, Sam, because I thought you'd like to talk about this as well.
Oh, interesting.
It's thematic to this episode.
Intriguing.
I watched Blockers.
All right, I see what you did there.
Yeah. You see why I picked it?
Yeah. Is that any good? Because that actually looks quite funny.
It's really not bad. I wasn't expecting it to be great, and it's decent.
Is this the one where their parents and their kids are going to prom or something?
Yeah. It's sort of like a gender-swapped American Pie, where it's these 3 girls that are like, oh, we're going to prom, and we've made a sex pact to get laid. And the parents, one of the parents is played by John Cena, hence why I chose it for this episode. But the parents discovered a sex pact and then set out trying to stop their little girls from getting some deep dicking.
It's a nice way of phrasing it, Liam.
Thank you. The thing with John Cena is, like, I already knew that he could do funny because he's the highlight of this Amy Schumer film called Trainwreck.
Oh, yeah.
Where the film is terrible, but he's fantastic in it. And once again, he's so good in Blockers. I was talking with Mark, who's been on the show before, and Mark thinks that John Cena can do a rock. I don't think he has that level of charisma, but I definitely would be up for seeing him do like a Jumanji-esque action comedy type thing.
Yeah, I imagine Blockers would be like kind of on the same level as Baywatch, as not a
well, crazy. Blockers doesn't have Zac Efron, so it's not even close to the same level as Baywatch, I'm afraid.
But I'm going with, like, not the critically acclaimed, this film is amazing, but when you watch it, you have fun.
You have a good time. Yeah, exactly. It's also got Leslie Mann in it. She's fine. And Ike Barinholtz, I think, who he's got that face that I've definitely seen in a load of stuff. But I actually have to look up to see what he's in that I know. He was in Suicide Squad, apparently. Oh, yeah, he was like the Harley Quinn's guard. I'm
just Googling him to see if I recognise him at all. Yeah.
He was in... Yeah, he's in loads of stuff, but he's just... When you say his name, it's not like, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
No. Apparently he was in Neighbours.
Yeah. Or Bad Neighbours.
But yeah, Bad Neighbours, sorry. Bad Neighbours. Yeah. Suicide Squad. A film called Blockers as well.
Yeah. Convenient.
I heard John Cena's in that.
He was in The League, which is a great TV show.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets around. He's really good in this. So you've got like 3 main girls, and I don't know if it was the script or if it was the acting, but like none of them were really that impressive. So that was the only thing that was a bit of a letdown, was like, because obviously you see a majority from the parents' perspective, but the girls also do take up a fair chunk of screen time, and they're fine. They're just nothing to really be like, oh yeah, she was good. So
okay,
yeah. not a special movie, but I wasn't bored, so 3 out of 5.
Fair enough.
Better than I thought it would be.
Cinema or more of a wait for DVD release?
It's okay. That's a hard question for me. It's the perfect movie for me to go and see with my Cineworld Unlimited card because I'm not actually paying money.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend paying. If it's on Netflix, you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
If you've just like laid down like 10-15 quid to see it, I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth that.
Okay.
A £5 maybe.
Okay.
I've saw loads of other stuff, but I'm not allowed to talk about any of it.
No,
so,
you aren't.
You know, so you're not getting Jessica Jones Season 2, Parenthood Season 2, A Quiet Place, Tomb Raider, or a video game, Burnout Paradise. So This is mostly for Amanda, because I know that she's going to be annoyed that you're not letting me do those things.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like Amanda, as a host of another podcast, would maybe just glance at how long this episode's been on for, which by the time I've edited will be at 50 minutes. Actually, we cut out a bit at the beginning, so maybe we'll be at sort of 45 to 50 minutes, I'd say. And she'll go, oh, that's weird, because they're not even like halfway through where they usually are in a show at this point. And I'll go, yeah, Amanda, I know. That's why Liam's not allowed to do 7 fucking things.
But she's also going to go, I want to know what Liam's thinking about Parenthood Season 2, and I wonder what he thought of A Quiet Place, and
That's what Twitter's for. Liam, I've also done stuff.
What stuff did you do? Have you read American Psycho?
I have read, Liam, 5 more chapters.
That's good.
I really want to start reading more stuff again, because I've got a bunch of stuff that's building up that I want to read.
So you're just powering through now?
I'm trying.
How's it going?
It's such a bad book. Like, I got to a very famous scene, the scene that everyone has seen in the film. Because I haven't seen the film, but I've seen this happen in the film.
Can you explain the scene in a way that I would understand?
Where he does Huey Lewis and the News in the film. Right?
Is this the scene with the rat?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. Ignore that.
So he's finally doing some violence.
Yep.
Right? Which is what you were saying, you know, it's going to get there. There will be violence. Maybe it will pick up then. I don't really remember.
Yep.
Right? The violence in this book is over with so quickly, and it's still in that same, like, I totally see what the author's trying to do. I just wish he would have done it faster. It does not need to be this long a book for me to understand that Norman Bates is insane. Patrick Bates, not Norman Bates. That's the guy from
Psycho.
Normal Psycho.
Nice one.
Patrick Bateman. I get what they're doing. I get that we're meant to feel like we're in his mind, and that's why it jumps around, and he's getting more crazy, so the book's getting more disordered and kind of weird. But, like, it's just not interesting at all.
It's a literary classic.
I personally don't think it deserves to be.
It's listed in 1001 books you must read before you die.
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason you think it's a classic is because it's in that fucking book.
It's on the cover of that book.
It's just not a good book.
Well,
if someone can write in and explain to me why it is a classic, because I'm not seeing it.
Well, if we had listeners, I'm sure.
Like, the writing's not even that. It's not even written that well.
You're just asking for trouble with that question. Write in and tell me why it's a classic. Expect a 20-page essay.
No, because she knows that no one listens, or if they do, they don't bother writing in. So she's pretty safe saying that.
I might have to do some research once I finish the book to see if I can find people being like, this is why this is a good book. Oh, it's just honestly, like, I was noticing errors in it, and not the errors that, because the way it's written, there are definitely bits in it where, like, stuff is written slightly out of order to seem weird and, like, make you feel that sort of mental breakdown happening.
Yeah.
Like, he'll repeat lines very deliberately, but there are also just mistakes in it where, like, a word was spelt completely wrong, and I was like, this isn't, like, this has been out years. How is this version of the book not fixed?
Fair enough.
It's just annoying.
I mean, like I don't really have any personal attachment to the book. Like, it was years and years ago I read it, so I don't really remember it.
I know you recommended it to me, though, so this is your fault.
Yeah, it's the sort of book that I just feel like, if you like reading... It's like me with films. There's certain films that, because I like cinema, I feel like I should see them so I can appreciate what came after them. Yeah,
no, it definitely... I get that reason, but it's also just a bad book. I prefer to read stuff that, like, paved this, because this hasn't paved the way to anything that I like reading.
Well, yeah, you like... Well, the whole point of doing this was you were stuck in your little dark fantasy niche, and I was trying to drag you out of it because I was so bored of listening to those reviews.
I've read a lot of other stuff, Liam, and this doesn't have the feel of anything that I've read.
No, but at least when you do finally review it, it's not going to be an Ellie review of, oh, it's got dragons and castles in it, so I like
I'd already
it.
got past that.
Well,
Anyway, other than attempting to read more of American Psycho, I also played Far Cry 5.
Oh, yeah.
You made that sound like a question.
I know I did. I do that sometimes, Sam.
And then I have to think of an answer.
I played Far Cry 5? Yeah, you did.
Yes, I think you did, yeah.
I've not played a single Far Cry game. What are they about?
They all follow a very similar theme. Or at least, the last sort of 4 have.
Okay.
Basically, the general premise of all those games is you're a regular person who gets dropped into a situation that is fucked up and messed up, and you end up being the fighter that's taking the fight to the baddie.
Okay.
And they're all really fun. It's a really fun game that, my favourite thing so far has been just killing time on it. The story's good, and some of the characters are really interesting in it.
I think, I read, literally just headlines, but there was a bit of controversy about the story taking place in, America or something, I think.
Yeah, well, I can totally see Americans being this isn't what America's like. I mean, it's a bit weird in that it's all about a cult.
Yeah.
And how this cult are taking over a state, effectively. Or maybe not a state, a county.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got this weird mixed message in that you're ostensibly fighting for good. And with all the shit that's gone on in America recently with, all the anti-gun stuff.
Oh, yeah, because they keep shooting children.
Yeah. It's
Stop doing that.
It's a little bit weird when you're playing as a character who, picks up heavy machine guns and just mows down cultists. And I'm
Making it realistic.
Yeah, well... But honestly, it's a really fun game. And it's got the same, sort of Far Cry formula of there are certain missions and stuff that are more comedy and, characters that are a bit more jokey. And then you have got your serious characters.
What would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it, I think, a 4 out of 5.
It's not bad at all.
It's honestly, it's a really fun game to just sit down and I lose hours to this game if I turn it on.
Far Cry 4 is the only one I've played. Far Cry 4 I've got not played. Far Cry Primal is the one I've played and completed.
Yeah, Primal's really fun. There's more stuff to do in 4 and 5 than there was to do in Primal, but Primal is a super fun game.
Wasn't one not listed on PlayStation Plus for free not too long ago?
No idea, probably.
I have that one, but I haven't played it yet.
Fair enough.
Would you say it's worth paying full price for, or wait for it to come down?
If you aren't a massive Far Cry fan who's desperate to play more of it, then wait for it to come down. But if you love Far Cry and you've got the money to spend on it, you'll love this one too.
Which edition did... Because I saw it in Tesco's, and there's a gold edition that came with, I think, Far Cry 3 or something.
Whatever one, I think I just got not the standard one. I think I got one that gives me the pass to get the DLC.
Okay. That might be the gold one then that I saw in Tesco, that you maybe would also get a code for Far Cry 3 or something.
No, it's definitely not that one.
Okay.
I think I would know after I went through my codes if I had a code that was you also get Far Cry 3.
I'm just looking at what the gold edition gives you on Amazon, just to see if I've got that right, but it's not really very clear what the difference between the editions are.
I just wouldn't worry too much about it, Liam.
Oh yeah, it's Far Cry 3.
There you go, very good.
Thank you. I like it when my memory doesn't fail me.
And then I've done one other thing, Liam, and Sam.
Thank you.
We have got you on as a guest, so I will also address you.
You're too kind.
I went and saw Ready Player One.
I want to see this, and okay, before you go into your review, have you read the book?
Yes.
Did that, do you think, affect your opinion of the film?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
So, I think it is hard for me to say, but I think if someone hasn't read the book, I feel like this film would be a lot more enjoyable.
Maybe on the next episode, or on a future episode, I will be able to either confirm or deny that.
Yeah, because honestly, this doesn't stand up to the book in my opinion, and I love the book. It's really good, and this it's like a good film, but because I've read the book, I was sitting there the whole time being like, that's not right. That's been changed really dramatically, and I much prefer what they did in the book. Which is, I guess, the problem with if you have read a book and then see a film.
See, luckily I don't read, so I'm never disappointed.
You're actually fully illiterate, Sam.
Shh, you don't want to tell anyone.
I think not reading before seeing a film is the smart way to go, because
I don't know. I don't think that's true.
No, every time I've read a book and watched a film, the film hasn't lived up. But
yeah,
I've never done it this way around. But I wonder if you watch a film and then read the book, do you get like double the enjoyment almost because you enjoy the film and then you'd enjoy the book?
I feel like you don't though. I feel like a lot of the time you'd read the book and be like, well, I know that happens.
To be fair, the only time I've done that was with Lord of the Rings, and I really struggled with those books because I knew the films inside out, so I knew exactly what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
I loved the books as soon as they diverted away from the films, like the Tom Bombadil chapter, I loved. Yeah. And there was some other stuff later on, but yeah, the rest was just a bit of a chore.
I mean, to be honest, it just depends on what you prefer. If you don't read and you want to watch films, like say you read occasionally, then go see the film first. But if you read a lot and don't go to the cinema that much, read the book.
I think you need to kind of distance yourself between the two of them because, of course, the author writes it how they want to portray it, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like Hollywood's job to kind of polish it for a broader audience and make money off of it.
Yeah, no, 100. I totally see why they made the changes. And that's why I'm saying, like, I do think if you haven't read the book, it probably is a much more enjoyable film.
Yeah.
And I can see the bits that make it enjoyable. It's just knowing that they took something out.
Can you talk about what you didn't like without going into spoilers?
Yeah, there are a few bits in the film where they have done that Hollywood to make it appeal to people by like putting in an action scene.
Okay.
And converting a whole part of the story from its original not intelligent but like more mystery-esque style, and they've converted it into like a massive action scene.
Okay.
And personally I think that detracts from the original story.
Fair enough. So
that's like the main example. I'd probably give it like a 2.5.
So fairly average.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would be interested to see what people thought who hadn't read the book.
I might be able to help with that one day.
Thank you.
One day.
I wanted to go see it this week at some point, but I had to work late a couple of nights, so I didn't get to.
And you've been, you can't get your land legs back. You're doing all your skiing.
Yeah, that's what it is. It took me about a week and a half to get over the jet lag.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, it's catching up on all the wanking as well.
Well, exactly, there was that. Yeah.
2 weeks
jet lag in air quotes.
Yeah, drained.
Replenishing the fluids.
Oh, good. Sam, have you been to the cinema recently?
I've not been to the cinema recently. However, I have seen a film for the first time recently.
Ooh.
And it was Seven.
Oh.
I had never seen
Seven before?
I had never seen Seven before until was it Sunday, I think? Or Saturday? No,
Whoa.
Sunday, yeah, Sunday.
Because that seems like your kind of film.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Oh.
But
dear.
Okay.
I watched it and it was enjoyable, but I don't quite understand all the kind of hype around it. Admittedly, I was quite tired while I was watching it, so that may have kind of swayed my opinion.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't like I just didn't really care about the characters.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, when like internet shopping was first becoming like a thing that people did, because I didn't have my own like card that I could use, I had to use my mum's, and she'd seen Seven at the cinema, and when she saw it was in my I think it was play.com back then, in my play.com
those were the days.
Going back, she went, "Why are you getting Seven? Anyone that would watch and like that film is sick and disgusting." And then not only did I buy it, then I watched it with my nan, and we both really enjoyed it.
Do you still enjoy it now?
I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but last time I watched it, I remember liking it.
Yeah, because it just seemed to jump straight in, and I didn't really care that much for Morgan Freeman or Brad Pitt or.
What? Who doesn't care for Morgan Freeman?
I like Morgan Freeman as a person.
Right. Okay.
The character in the film, I was just kind of like, meh. It was a kind of old detective who's retiring soon and wants to finish his last case.
Yeah, really jaded with everything.
Yeah. So,
I can sort of see what you're saying. Like thinking back on the film as you're saying this, I'm like, I can see where you're getting that.
But I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, I don't remember finishing that film and being like, holy shit, I'm so sad for these characters or anything.
Because Palmer has a wall chart of 100 films you need to see, and that was on it. And occasionally we're watching it as a household, and we decided to watch that one, and I was just like, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that was
What would you give it out of 5, Sam? 7.
Now, I know there's a bit of debate on this show who's of different rating systems.
Yeah.
So
we've sort of come to terms with it.
I'm going to go on a scale of 10.
Okay.
and say 5.
It's bold.
I'd say it was average.
Okay, perfectly half.
Which is 2.5 out of 5 then.
But on whose system?
On your system.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe to help, we've done this with guests in the past. So to help, if you give an example of like a 5-star film and then like maybe like a 1-star film that you hate, that will help people get an idea of your taste.
5-star, I would probably say The Godfather, which I knew is going to cause. I don't think Ellie, you haven't seen it, have you?
I've seen the first one, and I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan, yeah. Liam, your views?
I've seen the first one. I think it's a bit overrated. I don't hate it, and I appreciate it for what it's done, but I also don't exactly enjoy it.
Well, that's very interesting.
You should have hung up then, Sam. That would have been hilarious.
I did suggest to Ellie that we do it as our next culture swap, but she said no.
Godfather 2.
We were looking for a short movie.
Come back for Godfather 2.
And Liam suggested The Godfather.
Because if neither of you have seen Godfather 2,
no,
I have.
That is a brilliant film.
3 is not so good.
3 not so good, but 2 is as good as 1.
Yeah, well, I thought 2 was better than 1.
I mean, that doesn't fill me with confidence.
There's only there's 2 people who have won Oscars for playing the same character, and that's for Vito Corleone from The Godfather.
Look at you with all the facts. You should start a spin-off to your Animal Facts podcast, Film Facts.
That's not a bad idea. I'll call it Sam on Sam. And then I bought comics which I haven't read yet, which hopefully will be good. I bought Secret Empire, which is the whole comic series of Captain America coming out as a Hydra agent.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
I mean, it's a pretty hefty old graphic novel as well, so it's gonna take me a while.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
I remember when that first happened, and lots of people on Twitter were very upset.
Well, I'll let you know in a couple of weeks. My thoughts on it.
Email us in and tell us if you cried.
That probably won't happen, but
well,
either way, I'll let you know.
Now.
You'll get to know my views on the comic if you tune into my podcast, Sam on Sam. It'll be out shortly, every Tuesday, and then every Thursday will be Animal Facts.
Look at you, you're just so efficient.
None of this will happen. Please, please, people,
I'm going to edit that bit out.
Yeah, and for the third one, I was going to pass it over to Liam so he can tell us more about what he's seen.
Hey!
That's not how it works, unfortunately. So, housekeeping.
Oh.
I feel like our guest, we should listen to them, though.
No, not an hour and 20. What happens is, when we get to an hour and 20, all of the, politeness goes away, and we just stick to, Ellie's going to have to edit this, and it's going to be hell. And also, not even Ellie's going to have to edit this over the weekend. This is Ellie's going to have to edit it tomorrow night. So...
Well, hang on, why aren't you editing it tonight?
I'm not editing it fucking tonight because it's already 9:30.
What a better way to spend a Friday night, though?
Housekeeping.
Yeah, alright, housekeeping. Sorry, Amanda. I know you wanted to hear my views of the things, but Ellie won't let me.
I tried to help Liam, folks, but...
I appreciate it. If anyone's listening and they're unhappy at how this show is being dictated... Are you about to ask
people to write in?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks. Yeah, if anyone is listening and they are unhappy about how Ellie is dictating this show, please do write in, and I'll provide that as evidence.
And if that happens, it's all well and good with me because Liam can then edit the show. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but then you'd have to take over the YouTube editing and the Twitter stuff.
No, I mean this episode. If you would like Liam to talk, if you want to talk about another film, that's fine. But you have to edit this episode.
So housekeeping.
There we go.
I read Kill or Be Killed Volume 2.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm still planning to do that.
Yeah, because we discussed Volume 1 2 episodes ago, I think.
Yeah, and both enjoyed it?
Yeah. We had Kat on, didn't we? She recommended
it.
Yes. Volume 2, still good. I still enjoyed it. It's a little bit less stuff with the demon.
Oh, okay.
He kind of takes a back seat, but what they do is still interesting, and I really like the direction that Bruback has taken the story, because I can't really predict where it's going, and as you know, my favourite thing is to be surprised, so
yep.
I'm in a good position here. Not really a spoiler, but to just what Volume 2 is sort of about is the main character, Dylan, basically just gets really into this idea that he's a vigilante.
Okay.
Which is all well and good until the police kind of catch onto his trail.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
Okay.
4 out of 5.
Fair enough. Oh, that's pretty good.
Bold.
Definitely worth reading.
Yeah. Well, it was good. So it's on my list of things I need to do.
Fantastic. Housekeeping. Oh, I've already done housekeeping. I've already talked about Could I Be Killed Volume 2. Tweets.
Tweets in housekeeping.
In housekeeping. So, basically, because the last episode we recorded really quickly after the episode before that, we're going to now do tweets that maybe discuss one or the other of those episodes, if not both, whatever. We had Will Powell tweet us, saying, just something I picked up on, there seems to be a ton of echo on Liam's voice for some reason. Maybe it's always been there and I've just never clocked it, but it's very noticeable in this episode. Fun episode, guys. And that was the episode we had with Kat. Yeah,
I think there was Kat's mic ended up picking up some of your audio.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which I tried to edit, but because I think that was also a rushed out episode, if I remember rightly.
Probably.
So I didn't end up. I couldn't sit there and do all of the echo. So sorry about that, listeners. Hopefully that won't happen this week, but you never know. Sam's kind of a dickhead, so he's probably just got it blaring through his speakers.
I will have you know I'm wearing headphones. Do we know if Will's a regular visitor? Regular listener?
I think he listens occasionally. I don't know if he's every episode, but...
Well, I'll put in a little message for Will here, which is just, fuck off, Will.
There we go. Will. Thanks for tweeting us.
Yeah, we like you.
Yeah. Amanda tweeted us saying, "Oh, Liam Underwood, why are you introducing International Women's Day? I kept waiting for Ellie or Kat to cut in and take that over." Yeah, Amanda, so did I. I kind of was trying to lead it in so they could.
Yeah, I think me and Kat were both just shocked that you were doing it.
Yeah, a bit awkward, really. I was trying to help, but I guess on International Women's Day, it took a man to get the job done.
Jesus Christ. I do like the fact, though, that you read Amanda's email as if she's, like, sympathising with you, which I don't think is how she wrote that.
I don't think so either. Cool. I think she's like, get off of your station or something, but whatever. Yeah. She also said, "I understand, Kat. I forgot to brush my teeth until 3:30 today. # working from home problems."
Oh, okay. The good thing about doing tweets that are, talking about an episode 2 episodes ago is I don't know what the fuck these are talking about.
So Kat was talking about going freelance and working from home and how she doesn't clean her teeth anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Ellie Kempster tweeted saying, "Podcasting with Liam is like driving on ice. You have to steer into the spin."
Yep.
Don't know what that means. But then I tweeted saying, I showed that tweet to Kat. She said, Ellie shouldn't be given any driving advice.
Yeah, definitely not. Yep. Definitely
then
not.
I said, touche, love seeing you women stick together.
How many crashes have you had? Sorry, Ellie?
2.
And one of them was reversing into a car, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Carry on, sorry.
Still Amanda tweeting us. Thank you, by the way, Amanda. We do like that at least you tweet us. Just heard Liam say that Lady Bird was average, and I audibly gasped, "Yes, it is my favourite movie of 2017. And then she said, "So I think Liam may have an issue with female coming-of-age stories that show a realistic portrayal of what it means to be a teenage girl growing up in America. Both The Edge of 17 and Lady Bird showed teenage girls that I know/knew or were incredibly true to my own experience. Take away Lady Bird being sexually active, and that movie almost could have been a near documentary of my junior year of high school. I think maybe Liam prefers the fantasy and heightened/unrealistic films like High School Musical. Lady Bird is the reality." So, yeah, I mean...
Nice.
I think the difference is, and I tweeted this to Amanda, because it is close to her experience, she can relate to it. I can't relate to a teenage American female coming-of-age story, which might be why I'm not enjoying it as much as she is. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cause
I would agree with that.
Die Hard being your favourite Christmas movie, that makes a lot of sense to me, because you can clearly relate to John McClane, badass gunman.
Yeah.
Your whole logic with, I can't relate to these characters, therefore this movie isn't for me, which explains why I don't like it, is complete bullshit, and it annoys me.
That's entirely possible, but I don't know, like, equally, because I was saying to Kat, I can't necessarily relate to, like, an American high school boy sort of growing up. I just like those. But I don't know. For me, I just don't like the films that much, and I don't know if it's because of the fact that they're like female led, or if it's just because the films aren't that good.
I think it's because you're a sexist. Let's move on to the next tweet.
A Cat responded saying, "Please don't hate me, Amanda, but I also found Lady Bird average, although she loved Laurie Metcalf's performance."
That's because Liam is slowly infecting Kat's mind. We all know this.
Yeah. And Amanda just said, fair enough. She said, no worries, I don't hate you, Kat. I just had to address the coming of age pattern I was seeing with Liam. We're all good. I also acknowledge that not every film will resonate with everyone the same way. And yeah, Laurie Metcalf should have won all the awards just for her scene in the car at the airport. So, yeah. Oh, and Amanda also said that she loves that both on Nerd and also on the Won't Grow Up podcast that I used to do with Kat, but then we kind of abandoned.
Also dead. Two dead podcasts.
Yeah. That you guys read out the spammy emails and comments that all podcasters get. Call that bullshit out.
Yeah, we're just so hardcore.
So,
Ellie's the
nicely on.
Go on, Liam.
What was that saying?
I was going to say, we're too polite. Ellie's the only one who doesn't have a failed podcast under her name.
Well, we have the Asylum one that isn't quite off the ground yet.
Oh, really?
That's not a failed podcast.
I'm considering it a failure.
Why?
Because you said we'd start it in October last year.
No, you keep getting me to set dates for it to start, and I just keep giving you, like, the next month.
Yeah, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, exactly, because that's not when it's starting. It's fine. It will be up soon.
Okay. We've had an email.
Yep, I know what one you're going to read, Liam.
Okay.
I think. Wait, do I?
I don't know. It was from Wenbin Fang.
Oh, go on.
It's called Nerd on Nerd, podcast search engine.
Yep.
It says, hi there. My name is Wenbin Fang. Oh. I built a podcast search engine, Listen Notes, which is like Google, but for podcasts. It's free to use. I'm not asking you to buy anything here. I just want to introduce you this tool I built, which may bring you new listeners and help you better prepare your show. By the way, I found your email in the RSS feed of your podcast, Nerd on Nerd. Listeners use Listen Notes to discover long-tail content, e.g. podcasts they never heard of. So your show may get some new listeners via Listen Notes. Yes, it's like discovering interesting new websites when you search on Google.
You don't need to read this whole email, Liam.
As a podcaster,
I'm interested.
You don't need to do any additional things beyond producing good content and having informative show notes. Your show is already listed on Listen Notes.
Oh.
Many podcasters told me that they also use Listen Notes regularly to 1. Find past interviews of their prospective guests, e.g. Elon Musk. 2.
Jesus.
Learn from
How
other
high
podcasts.
are these people aiming?
Learn from other podcasts. It's like good writers who read a lot of other people's books. 3. Find cross-promotion opportunities on other podcasts by searching similar podcasts and reaching out to those podcasters, e.g. startup, and then in brackets, hint, email.
Yeah,
Note, it's a free tool. We make money through ads and providing developer APIs. You don't have to sign up. You don't need to make a commitment. Just like using Google, go to the website and search. That's it. Please let me know if you find Listen Notes useful or if you have any suggestions / feature requests. Wenbin. Yes, Wenbin, thank you so much for emailing us. My suggestion / feature request is to please fuck off.
Liam's very angry about
along with Will.
So Will and Wenbin Fang are both being told. I've not told anyone to fuck off yet, I don't think.
Give it time.
The thing I took from that letter was, when are you guys getting Elon Musk on your podcast?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I might look up some of his past interviews.
Yeah, and then I think we'll have a good opportunity for cross-promotion.
Definitely. I think he could really get his stuff off the ground with your guys' help.
Yeah, he needs us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Elon, if you're listening,
was the whole get stuff off the ground a clever little pun there?
I'm going to say yes.
Cool. I picked up on it.
Thank you.
I tweeted some aerial shots of my helicopter ride in Canada, and Amanda.
Oh my god! Of course, you managed to flip this section round to Canada as well.
Ooh! If this isn't in catching up with, I will be disappointed. Amanda, I hope you're not disappointed. Oh, Amanda tweeted us about Black Panther because we did a Black Panther special.
Oh, okay, that's relevant.
You'll actually like this, Ellie. She said, Wakabi's lack of a motive to betray his best friend and begin a battle against his countrymen was my biggest gripe about this movie. I'm glad you saw that too. When I recorded on Black Panther, everyone thought I was nuts when I brought it up. And then she said, so after finishing the episode, I'm not surprised my views on the film align more with Ellie. I tend to agree with her superhero movie assessments. Black Panther is up there among probably my top 5 Marvel films.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realise so many people were against the issue that me and Amanda had there. Because, honestly, that is a glaring part of that film. But
what was the issue you had, sorry?
There's, can we talk about it on this show, Liam?
Are there going to be spoilers?
Is it spoilers? There's a guy, Sam.
Yep.
There's a guy who does a bad thing to his friend.
Yep.
And there's not really a good reason that he does it. Like, the reason they give a reason, but it didn't feel like a big enough reason to me.
Gotcha. If you don't mind just texting me a rundown of what you meant, because I'm not following you at all.
Oh, just go listen to the Black Panther special, Sam.
I already have.
So Amanda also tweeted, I think we might have to rename housekeeping to just catching up with Amanda.
You also don't need to read all of her tweets.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it. If she's going to take the time to tweet us, I'm going to take the time to read it. If other people took the time to tweet us, maybe I'd be more pick and choosy. But we don't get that. Amanda said, finally saw your sister's sister, so I was able to finish the Nerd on Nerd for Liam's birthday. Loved the film. I also haven't seen Drinking Buddies or The Puffy Chair, but they're on my list. They're also Mumblecores. We'll get around to them on this show, maybe. No, you liked your sister's sister, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
There we go then. So maybe, if with a positive mental attitude, you'll... I don't know. So now Amanda tweeted us about the last episode that we recorded, saying, you're a resident American listener here to report Mother's Day is in May in the US. This year it is Sunday, May the 13th. Please go with Ellie's plan to cover 50 Shades Darker. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that abysmal film.
We should do it.
I did go back saying I think that's not a good idea.
I think we should do it.
Okay. Caleb tweeted us and a load of other podcasts saying, anyone looking for podcast guests, books to review, or just want to talk shop, I'd love to be in your show. Now, here's some advice for people that want to maybe guest on another podcast. Don't just randomly tweet them. Actually listen to their show. And maybe, with us, for example, we have Culture Swap, which is a section deliberately made for guests to come and talk about stuff that they want to talk about. You're going to see an example of that on this very show. So don't just fucking tweet us without listening. Actually listen, and then you'd be like, hey, I've got a good idea for Culture Swap. Maybe I could come and guest on, and we're going to be a lot more receptive to your ideas. Instead, when I called Caleb out on this, his response was, I'm a newer listener. Well, nah. You're a twat, mate.
I mean, I feel like we shouldn't be mean to these people because they're just trying to get off the ground like we tried.
I think add him to the fuck off pile.
Yeah,
alright, fair enough.
we
Caleb,
tweeting...
I'm sorry.
Sorry, did I tweet Chris Hardwick and I was like, don't listen to your show, but I'd love to come on and talk about this new podcast I'm doing?
No, that's fair. We didn't do that.
So, I'm just saying, there's a way to do it that isn't so transparently dickish.
Okay. Liam?
That's it for housekeeping.
Liam? Oh, is it?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly positive, yes.
Oh, because there's one little thing. Oh, just a tiny, teensy tiny thing, Liam.
I think you should talk about Canada more.
The last time I asked you, you had 1,093 films in your to watch pile. The challenge we set this year was for you to get below 1,091. How's it going?
Like I said earlier, because of Canada, I got back and I was all depressed and shit, so I didn't really feel like just sitting around in my pants watching movies. I had a lot of wanking to catch up on.
Yeah.
So it's gone up.
Ooh, how much?
1,098.
Oh, Liam.
And it's not going down is the problem, because films keep arriving that I've forgotten I've ordered, and I'm not watching anything.
Oh, dear. Oh, Liam, that's not good, buddy.
But I've got until the end of the year, and we're not even halfway through the year yet, so...
No, that's fair. But,
as long as I get out of this, I miss Canada funk, I'm sure it'll be fine.
As regular listeners know, I try to do, whenever we have a guest on, I just sort of make them face that number. So, Sam... Yes. Liam has 1,098 DVDs that he has bought.
Or Blu-rays.
Or Blu-rays, sorry, just films.
Or 4K.
Yeah, films that Liam's bought that he hasn't watched. And I want to just get your take on, how that makes you feel.
That is a hell of a lot. Because I think the ones that I haven't seen that I've got are maybe 5.
Yeah, that's a normal amount.
Thank you.
But how many films would you say you watch, in a year?
That's a long time. I don't watch films as much as you do, because I know that you are a big film guy. I watch films maybe 3 a month.
So if we total that up, that's 36 a year?
Yep.
Alright, so, okay, Ellie, I'm going to need you to do some math real quick.
Just before I do that maths, Liam, can I just very quickly point out that I do keep track of this number over a year, and we have been doing this now for a year and a bit, and you started at 1,009... You started at 1,091 and you ended on. You're now on 1,098, right? So just to clarify here, your number hasn't lowered; it's increased, which means that if your argument you're about to make is I watch a lot of films, therefore I need more films in my to watch pile, you're wrong. You do not need that many because you still have more films than you started with.
Right, but can we just do some math really quickly?
Yes.
For someone that watches 36 films a year and has 5 in their to watch pile, right?
Yeah.
What would my number be on those on that like scale if in a year I watched 342 films?
Liam, I don't even need to type the maths in. It's not 1,098. Sam's second number was smaller than his start number. That means that yours on that scale should be smaller than the start number. So
but
yours
still...
would be like probably like around 300. No, less than that. It would be like...
Right, so here's the point I'm making.
It would be like 50.
Yeah, here's the point I'm making, right? If I'm only watching 340, say, a year, but my number isn't going down, it means I'm buying as I watch.
No, so your number's gone up.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just move on. I thought I had a good argument there, but then I realised that maths betrayed me.
You should never call on maths, Liam. No. Maths is a harsh mistress.
Yeah.
Culture swap, finally?
Well, okay, let's have some enthusiasm. We've got a guest here. They've chosen this culture swap, and you're being all like, "Oh, I guess it's fun."
I mean, I was expecting Liam to be a bit more unenthusiastic on that intro. Not you, Ellie.
I'm sorry. What I'll do, Sam, is I'll do the traditional. I'll start it, and then you say the thing we always say because you love the show. Culture swap.
Yes, with me, Sam Pryor.
That is very close.
Was I close?
Yeah, nearly got it perfect.
No, do it again. I remember what it is.
Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
Oh, look at that. You did actually get it. I'm impressed.
Well done. Listen to a couple. Yep.
Yeah.
So this time, as we were getting Sam on, we asked him, Sam, we want you to give us something for Culture Swap that we can talk to you about that, you know, is a part of your culture. And as Sam is the father to a dead podcast about wrestling...
That is definitely what happened to the making of this episode.
I heard a different story.
Oh, what did you hear, Liam?
I heard that Ellie was discussing podcasting with you, and you said that there's this huge audience of nerds who like wrestling, and that we should try and tap into it by doing like a wrestling special episode. And then Ellie came to me with this like, so I've got this idea that you probably won't like, but what if we do a wrestling special? Sam suggested it, and I was like, I'm up for doing it, but only if we have Sam on as a guest.
Yeah, that is more accurate. It's also lies, because I just thought it would be funny to make you watch WrestleMania.
It's 5 hours.
And that's not including the pre-show.
Which I didn't watch.
You were lucky, Liam. I went with some friends and watched the 7-hour version.
So did you watch it live?
No.
Okay.
Me and the guys who I did the Dead podcast with, may it rest in peace, watched it live last year, and we decided this year that we're not doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, what time, our time, would that have been on?
Started at midnight.
Yeah, so that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
So it had gone to 7 a.m.
Yeah, it went on for, I think last year it might have been only 5 hours, and I say only 5 hours. So I think it finished at 5.
Even without the pre-show, WrestleMania is long.
Yeah.
But like I said, at least you had the benefit of watching it with friends, where Liam had to watch it by himself and kind of try and retain his
there were
excitement.
Definitely moments. There were moments where we were sitting down watching it, where we were laughing about the idea of Liam having to watch it by himself.
That just sounds mean.
No, it was more like it would be going on, and I'd be like, oh wow, this is like, we're only like a third of the way in, and then I'd be like, poor Liam has to do this by himself.
Yeah, but I'll power through. So, okay, let's start with Sam. Why you chose WrestleMania? And this was what, WrestleMania 34, was it?
It was indeed 34.
Okay, so what's your like history with wrestling, and let's get into all that stuff before we actually talk about WrestleMania.
Going deep, I like it. Well, I have been a wrestling fan for quite a while. Probably in primary school when wrestling was really big, and when most people grow out of it, I didn't. And that's where we are today.
So have you like since then watched it pretty much weekly?
Not so much because, right, I'll give you a breakdown of what normally happens on a weekly thing. So WWE has Raw on a Monday night, which is 3 hours long, and that's every week. Then you've got SmackDown on Tuesday nights, which is 2 hours long.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Then they do a cruiserweight show after SmackDown, which is an hour long. And then you've got another show on Wednesday called NXT, which is an hour long. And then they've got like a little kind of shitty show on, I think it's Thursdays, and I think they still do it, which is an hour long as well. So if you are just watching WWE stuff, you've got 8 hours of wrestling a week to watch, if you watched all of it. And that's not including pay-per-views like WrestleMania, which would add on another at least 3 hours.
Yeah, that's correct. How often do the pay-per-views happen? They have quite a lot, right?
So Raw and SmackDown have their separate rosters. And last year, Raw and SmackDown both had a pay-per-view once a month. So in total, there was, I think, around about 24 pay-per-views in the year. Which crazy. They've realised that's too much wrestling, even for them. So they're cutting it down this year and going back to, I think, around about 12, 13, 14.
Oh, jeez.
So the only thing
is, like, while that is a big commitment, I've always described wrestling, and this might not be an accurate description, but I've always described it as basically like a soap for boys. And you think how much you've got, like, if you add up like EastEnders, Coronation Street, Emmerdale, you're probably looking at weekly a similar-ish time investment.
The only thing I watch weekly is their Wednesday show NXT, because it's only an hour long, which is a lot more manageable than 3 hours or 2 hours. The wrestling's normally better, and it's their kind of developmental show, so people who haven't been wrestling for long or new signings or whatever wrestle there, and then they get promoted eventually to Raw or SmackDown. So it's just a bit more interesting for me anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, do you like try and keep up with what's going on in Raw and SmackDown as well then, or like?
Yeah, I normally just look at the highlights on their website and see who won, what's going on, and then maybe if the pay-per-view looks good, I'll watch that. If not, I'll skip it.
Fair enough.
So, Ellie, what's your history with wrestling?
I owned the PS1 game WWF In Your House.
Yeah. Which
led me to believe that wrestling had lots of cool stuff like The Undertaker firing skulls out of his hand, Goldust whipping people with tinsel, Ultimate Warrior turning into eagles and attacking people. And then when I saw wrestling and it wasn't that, I was like, well, I don't want to watch this. But then I have experience in that our group of friends were super into wrestling, and pretty much every sleepover we ever had consisted of a few hours of playing whatever game was the most recent.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I can confirm that.
Yeah, that was so. Like, I knew of a bunch of wrestlers, but then that stopped. Like, I've not seen wrestling other than appearing on one episode of Sam's podcast. I hadn't seen any wrestling since high school.
Okay.
Liam, what's your history with wrestling?
No, don't ask him.
No, thank you so much for asking. When I was a kid, I had like VHS of, I want to say like it was a SummerSlam or something, but it had like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. I think even the match where Hulk Hogan lifts Andre the Giant.
Oh, okay.
And I had like a load of the toys as well when I was a kid. Then, so that was probably up until like 7, 8. I kind of stopped watching for a bit, and then it became really popular when I was at secondary school in like year 7, year 8, around like the Attitude Era time when you had The Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane. So I got really into it when it became less wrestling and more stunts. Like you had like ridiculous jumps off of like cage matches, like thumbtacks getting involved. Inferno matches, and my personal favourite, I can't remember what it's called, but you had the lady wrestlers, and it was the first one to get stripped loses.
That'll be a bra and panties match.
Yeah, those were so good. I had a VHS one where one of the lady wrestlers, I think one of her boobies pops out, and I had to like try and freeze frame that when I was like 13.
It's sort of depressing, Liam, that you list all these cool things and then one of your other favourite bits is like the most dehumanising thing they did to the women wrestlers. Except maybe making them wrestle in... What was that one you showed me, Sam?
I think
they wrestled in...
It was a gravy bowl match or a pudding bowl match or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, at school, like in the playground, everyone used to just do like wrestling and stuff, which ridiculous because there's a huge difference between being thrown like onto a bouncy ring versus being thrown onto the ground.
Yeah. One of those is dangerous. The other one is very dangerous.
And like it got to the point where like people were having ladder matches in their back garden. Like it got ridiculous when I was at secondary school. But then it all sort of died down, probably late 14, sort of by the time we were 15, everyone just kind of moved on to, I don't know, Pokemon or some shit.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched wrestling since then, to be honest.
Until 7 hours of WrestleMania came along.
Well, I didn't do the pre-show, so it was only 5 hours.
Okay.
I did have, I think, SmackDown on PlayStation or something like that, one of those games.
Yep.
And also, so you had like the WWE, I think back then it was still WWF, and there was like a rival wrestling organisation.
Is it WCW, or are they something else?
WCW was a rival organisation. Was it SmackDown versus Raw?
It had, I think, on the... So it was just a PlayStation game I never watched it, but on the cover it had, I want to say, Goldberg.
Oh, that would have been a WCW game.
Yeah, I had that, and that was quite good because you could do street matches in it and throw dustbins at people.
Taking out the trash.
But yeah, that's my history of wrestling until WrestleMania. So like, I've seen headlines. I saw all about like the Undertaker and his streak being broken. I think last year was it?
That was 4 years ago now.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Doesn't time fly?
That was the first time, and then someone beat him last year for the second time at WrestleMania. So.
Okay, because they basically only wheel him out for WrestleMania now, don't they?
Yeah, for probably the past 6 years. Okay. He's only really wrestled at WrestleMania.
How old is he?
I can quickly look that up for you. He is 53.
Older than most wrestlers, right?
Yeah. And he has been wrestling with the WWE since 91, off the top of my head, I believe.
Jeez. That was when I was born.
I remember, like, wasn't there a storyline about him being brothers with Kane?
Yes.
Yeah, him and Kane are brothers.
I remember that. And I think they had the Inferno match together, didn't they?
They did indeed.
There we go. It's all coming back to me now.
There you go. The inner fan's coming out.
And who didn't... I want to say Rikishi or someone ran over Stone Cold in a car.
Well done, sir.
I remember that because I remember like at the time like when they used to show it I think on like a Sunday morning on Channel 4 or something or maybe Channel 5 and my nan just used to be it's so fake. I was like yeah most of it is but look at the stunts they're doing and then there was that like car thing and I was like how is that fake? This you literally just see him get run over by a car.
You literally do, and I'm impressed that you remember that. To be fair,
what I don't understand and I was hoping you could maybe explain is the whole heel and face aspect.
What would you like explaining about that? The face is a good guy. A heel is a bad guy.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, Liam. I did tell you this when you asked about it while you were watching.
But like, how does wrestling work?
Oh my god.
So like, okay, for example, so Vince McMahon.
Now, Liam, sometimes they have to pick him up.
Like Vince McMahon owns the company, right?
He does indeed, yeah.
So is he like, all right? So this week the storyline's going to be. You're adopted and you're going to fight this guy and he's going to win. So
they have a team of writers.
That makes sense.
Yep. And interesting enough, one of their writers used to be Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's a little fun. Another little fun fact. Another one of my spin-off shows. Might save that one for later.
Wrestling facts.
And they'll write storylines for whoever for all the shows, but pretty much Vince has a final say of yay or nay.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times the writers have had like a storyline going and Vince can just go, no, we're not doing that anymore. And they've had a few storylines that have started and then just next, like Raw or SmackDown or whatever, they've just not continued it at all.
So there's a good example. There was a woman last year who was injured and they thought, we'll repackage her when she comes back. Her name was Emma and they decided to come up with a brilliant name of Emmalina.
Good.
And she was injured she was off TV for maybe like 6 months, I would say. And pretty much 4 of those months, they kind of hyped up her return with these little promo packages saying Emmalina is returning soon, blah, blah, blah. She came back, and on the first episode of Raw she came back, they decided to scrap that idea. Regardless of the 4-month build-up to the thing, she came out and pretty much said, oh no, this Emmalina thing was a joke, I'm just Emma. And that was pretty much because Vince didn't trust that she could do the job.
Yeah.
So that was it. You never saw her again.
You never saw her as that character. She went back to her old character, even though that you had 4, maybe even 5 months of them hyping up her as this new character coming out. And she came out once and said that no.
And I don't know if this is how it went, but did the person that played Kane change?
No. He's the same Kane as he was when he first appeared.
Because the Kane I remember was not necessarily skinny, but nowhere near as big as the Kane that I saw kind of later. Did he just get fat?
Yeah, age makes fools of us all.
Yeah, I mean, like...
I think he's about 50 now, yeah.
Okay.
Because, Undertaker and some of the wrestlers that were in this WrestleMania, bringing it back to the culture swap we're doing and not just teaching Liam about wrestling, you can see that they're not like they used to be.
Yeah. So WrestleMania is basically like the Super Bowl of wrestling, is it?
Yeah.
Cool. The Super Bowl is the only sport event that I really watch.
So yeah, it's the Super Bowl of the year, and it's almost like the end of the season, although wrestling goes all year round.
Yeah.
Pretty much people tell you that you go from after WrestleMania all the way around to everything builds up towards WrestleMania.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, because a lot of this, I may as well say it, that I've been, since watching this WrestleMania, I've actually been looking into wrestling more and reading about it and watching videos and stuff.
Preparation, that's called.
No, it's just called liking wrestling now. But they were talking about, you have all these people, some of the storylines building up to WrestleMania specifically are certain characters and people wrestling to get a place in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So clearly, yeah.
Well, you could see that in some of the promos for some of the matches.
Yeah.
So WrestleMania always happens the first weekend, usually of April, and the kind of real build up to it normally starts happening November time, and they kind of start planting seeds for it, then going through all the way to WrestleMania.
What's the difference between WrestleMania and SummerSlam?
So they have their big 4 events, which are Royal Rumble, which is in January, WrestleMania in April, SummerSlam in August, and then Survivor Series in November. And they're kind of like the big 4. But WrestleMania is just the biggest.
Fair enough. And it's basically... So the other thing that I was hoping you could kind of shed some light on is how do storylines work? Is it basically so maybe these two don't like each other and every single storyline is going to essentially end in a fight?
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot else they can do, to be fair.
Here's a good guy, here's a bad guy. We'll settle it with a fight. Sometimes you get good guy. Sometimes you get bad guy.
Is it always good versus bad?
No, Sam literally just said that sometimes you get a good guy and a good guy, and sometimes you get a bad guy.
More often,
okay.
Most of the time, it's good guy versus bad guy, because that's the easiest story to tell. You'll get more often good guy versus good guy than you would bad guy versus bad guy. And
do they ever turn the good guys bad or the bad guys good?
Yeah, and there's one example of that, which one of the WrestleMania 13, I think it was, where it was Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, and Bret Hart went in as a good guy, Stone Cold went in as a bad guy, and then they left with Bret Hart as a bad guy and Stone Cold as a good guy.
How did they do that?
It's a very long time since I've watched that match. I think it was just Bret Hart was kind of being merciless, really, in his beating down of Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was kind of like, I'm not giving up. And in the end, the fans were chanting for the guy taking all the punishment and starting booing the good guy who was meant to be a good guy but taking it too far.
So was that a story decision, or was it this is how the fans are responding?
Just real quick, I know I love it, Liam. I love that you're trying to learn about wrestling now, but can we talk about WrestleMania?
Okay, this is context.
No.
Bear in mind,
let's not get there. Let's just talk about the thing we're doing.
But Ellie, while you think that there is this huge nerdy wrestling crossover
audience, I just want to talk about the cool show that we watched.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we might have other listeners that have never watched wrestling before, and this is all going to help them understand when we talk about WrestleMania.
Got you. I'll speed it up a little bit for you. Liam, there are bad guys and good guys. It's written. They have storylines. This is the big event. We watch the big event. Let's talk about it.
Does the crowd reaction ever affect the storyline? Is my question.
Very rarely. Sometimes the fans will have their heart set on something and Vince will ignore it and go with what he wants to. Prime example of that is Roman Reigns, who was in the main event of WrestleMania.
Of this one, yeah.
He's
bringing it all back.
They're trying to... been trying for the past couple of years, trying to make him the big fan favourite of the company, and they've kind of really pushed for him to be that but they've kind of pushed him too fast and too quick, and the fans have just been like, no, and they end up booing him most of the time.
I have 2 last questions before we can talk about WrestleMania.
Go.
The first, is Bret Hart the one that ziplined in and then hit a buckle and died?
That was Owen Hart. That was his brother.
Right, cool. I knew it was a Hart. Second, so when I was watching it as a teenager and it was getting super violent and super bloody, I stopped watching it, and then I kind of like just heard that they really toned down the violence and the blood to try to like appeal more to children again. Is that accurate?
That is true. They're PG now, so not whatever it was before in the UK rating system.
Was that quite a like they just cut off, or did they gradually decrease that sort of stuff?
It was a kind of gradual thing. If you look back at it, it was more gradual, and they've pretty much done it to get more money from sponsors, basically.
Right, okay. I'm done with my questions now.
Thank fuck. Actually, you know what, Liam? I'm going to put you in the fuck off pile.
I thought you might. I had a feeling it would happen before the end of the show.
Yeah.
Ellie, I don't really care. WrestleMania 34.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
You were so fucking excited to start talking about this, and now your whole response was
if you were
yes.
going to say something. Usually we don't just say the name of what we watched and then drop into silence.
I saw what Liam was doing there.
Okay. Thank you.
I super fucking enjoyed this. Way more than I thought I would.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that surprises me, because it didn't seem like it when we were watching it.
I know. I totally get it. Honestly, it did not feel like 5 hours or 7 hours. Mm-hmm. It felt a lot quicker. And there were a bunch of I have a bunch of problems with wrestling that I'm not a fan of, but overall I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, which is crazy to me.
Are we not going to get into the problems that you have?
Yeah, no, we can. I'm letting other people talk as well, just Okay. But okay, I'll go into
What are your issues?
Some of the stuff just seems a bit bullshitty, like you were talking about Roman Reigns, and that is that was like the headline fight of this, right?
Yeah.
And I know I was getting Sam and the others to explain to me like stuff, and then you guys were just talking about stuff anyway. But the fact that Brock Lesnar doesn't wrestle that much at all, which seemed to be a point in their storyline when all the other wrestlers were like, "Oh, he's a part-timer or whatever," and then he won anyway. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well that seems a bit shit."
So the background for that is, I don't know if you're aware, but Brock Lesnar used to wrestle in about 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And that was when he was first with the company, and he was there for a couple of years. And then he left, and then eventually went to the UFC, where he did quite all right, became UFC heavyweight champion. And then he left the UFC, came back to WWE part-time, and kind of pretty much every time his contract is coming close to expiring, there's always talk about him going back to the UFC. And his contract was expiring this time round, so everyone assumed Brock Lesnar was leaving, going back to the UFC, and it turns out he signed a new contract the day of WrestleMania, and they decided to change their mind, and Brock was going to win, and Roman was going to lose.
It just seems weird to me that, because surely the whole point of wrestling is that even when you like someone, like one of the storylines in this WrestleMania was Asuka versus Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
Where they had this whole big thing where they're like, Asuka's got this undefeated streak going on.
Yeah.
No one can defeat her, and she's come to take out Charlotte Flair. What's going to happen? And then Asuka gets defeated.
Yep.
And it's like this big, whoa, holy shit. But then you got Brock Lesnar, and it's just like, he's just winning. I get that he's signing more contracts, but why the fuck are WWE signing contracts with him, being like, yeah, fine, you can win again?
They've kind of booked themselves into a corner, because they've booked him to look super strong, so then when someone beats him, the person who beats him looks super strong.
Yeah.
But they've made him look too strong, because he's literally beaten everybody.
Yeah. It just seems crazy.
Yeah. So whoever ends up beating him and winning the title is going to look really good, but at the moment there's no one that he hasn't already faced who he hasn't already beaten. So it's going to be tricky. Right. Yeah, really tricky. Liam, what were your thoughts on it?
So it was kind of, I thought it was quite up and down, and generally I think the matches I liked the most were the ones that they spent more time building up or like refreshing what the storyline was that got you to that place.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you had context for why they were fighting, I suddenly was a lot more invested in who was actually going to win. So I think my favourite of the matches was probably the Charlotte Flair versus Asuka one.
Yeah.
Because they had that whole storyline about how Asuka was like undefeated and all that sort of stuff. So that was good. And even though they had all that, I was still like, right, well, I want Charlotte Flair to win. I like the look of her more. I like the Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H match, because again, like, I didn't realize this was Ronda Rousey's first time actually wrestling.
Yeah, she surprised a lot of people.
I've seen the headlines about her joining, but I thought she'd already fought.
No, it's the first time.
She did really well.
Yeah, but I mean, this versus like UFC, one, it's a massively different skill set and probably requires a lot more stamina, especially for Rousey. But it's also got to be for her, like, surely it's a lot easier than, getting your head actually kicked in.
Yeah, but I imagine learning not to punch someone is probably quite hard when you've literally spent your entire life training to punch people.
Maybe. But,
so I imagine it's because that's what I was like, she's just going to accidentally hit someone and this whole fight's going to go downhill really quickly, especially when it's Stephanie McMahon. However you pronounce their last name?
McMahon.
Is it McMahon?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I was like, if she just hits her, she could kill her.
Yeah, that's true. But I that was probably my favourite match, I think. Because, like, again, when I was watching it back as a teenager, that was when he had the whole Triple H marrying Stephanie McMahon storyline.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see them still going strong, I guess.
So Triple H only wrestles part-time now, and again, he's pretty much like The Undertaker, only really wrestles at WrestleMania.
Big
and
events.
a couple of other big shows, yeah.
Yeah. I like the Alexa Bliss versus, is it Nia Jax?
Nia Jax, yeah.
The like women wrestling has come on so far since when I used to watch it, and it was a bit of a like, we'll kind of do that first and get it out of the way. Like, now it's actually impressive what they're doing.
I genuinely, that's the bit that has got me the most interested in wrestling. Like, the women wrestlers now are so cool.
Yeah. I mean,
just badass.
When I do watch UFC, which is rarely, but I'm always a lot more interested in the women fighting than the men fighting. I don't know why.
Well, see, for me, it's because I think it's really cool seeing women doing these badass things and a company respecting them and not just being dicks about it.
Yeah.
Which is what WWE kind of used to be.
Yeah.
I feel like for you it might be slightly different reasons.
I don't know, it's not like sexy or anything. I like seeing these women just like beat the hell out of each other.
You said it isn't sexy, and then you described like a fetish that a lot of people know.
Oh yeah, no, I find it impressive more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is that sexist?
I don't know. I think it might be. I don't know how you mean it.
I don't know either.
Maybe don't explain it.
One of their biggest stars in the past 10 years, I'll probably say, was Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. She's what probably got me first actually watching UFC. Like, I don't watch it a lot, but every like now and again I would try and watch like a matchup or something. But so there's the stuff that I didn't like so much in WrestleMania. Pretty much, besides like the ones I mentioned, a lot of the ones that had like tag team and that sort of stuff, there was just too many people and I just didn't care about them. Like the first, was it like a triple threat match, which was the first one?
Yep, the first match, yes.
Yeah, didn't give a shit about that. Then the Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode, is it?
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode. That whole match, didn't give a shit about that one. The other one, which was the SmackDown Tag Team title match.
Yep.
The entrance was fantastic. Little people in pancakes costumes. Yeah, amazing. The match itself, terrible.
See, there's a good example with them for me saying to Ellie about the whole wrestling fans are nerds as well, because the New Day, who were the pancake people, I think it was 2 years ago at WrestleMania, they came out all dressed up like Dragon Ball Z characters.
That's cool.
And then I think later on, even Ellie pointed out that in the Raw tag team match that they did the fusion dance.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I was saying to Liam, I knew there was an example of where I was like, oh, that's such a nerdy thing. And yeah, it's fucking Sheamus and thingy.
Well, I noticed one of the commentators made a Rex Manning Day reference, which is a reference to a film called Empire Records, which is not exactly mainstream. The biggest disappointment of the night for me, though, was the John Cena versus Undertaker match. Because, like, even though I haven't been watching wrestling, even in just WrestleMania, that felt really hyped up, and I'm guessing they've been hyping it up for at least a few weeks now.
Well, what they've pretty much been doing for the past month and a half, maybe even longer. So at the Royal Rumble, there's, for people who don't know, there's a match called the Royal Rumble match, and whoever wins that goes on to face the champion at WrestleMania. John Cena said he was going to win that. He didn't win it. And he's like, okay, I'll find another way to get to WrestleMania. And then had other matches to try and face the champion, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he realised, okay, that's not going to work, so I'm going to call out The Undertaker. And then for the past 4 or 5 weeks, he's on Raw every week. He's been trying to call out The Undertaker, try and get a match, and Undertaker's not replied. So this was kind of a real, is it actually going to happen or is it not? Because that match wasn't announced at all beforehand. And it was kind of like, right, is it or is it not? Especially really, it seemed like The Undertaker... Though, right? Yeah.
Cool.
The Undertaker kind of made it seem like he was retiring last year.
Yeah.
Because he, after his match, he left all of his kind of ring gear in the ring and walked away, and everyone assumed that was it. And then he came out this year, and he should have retired a few years ago, to be fair.
Yeah. He should.
Bless him. Especially how much they hyped the match. One, it was over really quick, but it was also just, I don't think they really sold the fight very well. I don't feel like John Cena was in a position to be pinned that quickly. I don't know. I thought it was lame.
Well, if you look at the kind of bigger picture, it doesn't really hurt John Cena, because John Cena's a big name regardless, so it doesn't really matter if he loses, because he's always still a big name and a big star.
Yeah. Is he trying to move away from wrestling now that he's doing these film roles and stuff?
Yeah, he's becoming a bit more part-time now, and kind of taking a few months off at a time and going to film movies and stuff.
Yeah. The Daniel Bryan match, I kind of feel like if I'd have known who he was, I would have thought, oh, it's a big deal that he's coming back, but I didn't, so I didn't really care.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Daniel Bryan anyway,
yeah.
So I can't say I really care that much. But yeah, he retired a couple of years ago when he was super popular, kind of in his prime, because he had a lot of...
Was it due to injury?
Yeah, he had a lot of concussions and he was starting to have seizures and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
So he retired, and now WWE have said that he's cleared to wrestle. He's gone to numerous doctors and they've all said that he's all okay to wrestle, so they brought him back and stuck him in a match.
Enough. The AJ Styles versus
good luck with this one.
Yeah, just again, they did a little bit of the storyline stuff, but I just didn't really care about that fight.
But that fight's awesome because you get to see Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but those violinists were not really playing those violins.
I don't give a shit about the violinists. I love Shinsuke. He's cool as shit. I don't know what character he is playing, but he looks like he's possessed by a demon.
So the second worst moment of the night for me was the Raw Tag Team Championship, where the big guy, how do you say his name?
Braun Strowman?
Braun, yep.
Yeah, where he just gets this 10-year-old kid out of the audience as his tag team partner, and then just single-handedly takes on these two Irish guys. That whole lead up, who's going to be my partner? You, pointing to the audience, and then getting a kid who later transpires as the son of a referee and was clearly planted there. And I think you're using so plant silly. Wrong. It was too silly. You're
using plant wrong. The kid wasn't a plant. It was pre-planned, yes, but the kid isn't a plant. He's not like a 30-year-old man pretending to be a kid so he can trick people, which is what a plant is.
But
a plant is someone that's set
he's not a random kid that was selected. He probably was told, "Oh, this is going to happen. You have to be here, and then you have to go do this." Yeah,
he definitely was. Weird that in this scripted fight match that they had scripted the kid.
That's a plant.
Because you know what would have been really safe and cool is having a really excited 10-year-old who didn't know what to do, who was probably have run into the ring and got decked by Sheamus by accident and killed. I imagine they would have loved that on WrestleMania.
The kid still didn't really look like he knew what to do when he got in the ring.
No, he was terrified, obviously, but they had clearly said to him, look, you've got to stay by the rope, and at some point, Braun will tag you in, and we want you to do this.
What, stand there for 2 seconds and then turn around and tag him back in?
Yeah, because it was meant to, it was the kid being scared. He walks into the ring, and then the other guys are like, look at us, we're fucking pro wrestlers, and the kid's like, oh, okay, I'm back out.
Yeah, the kid should have done a stunner on him.
I really liked that. I thought it was a cool fight.
To me, it was just way too silly.
I don't get... I was saying this to you earlier. This is a show where we have literally had people who are demons and are possessed by ghosts.
I haven't seen all that shit in WrestleMania 34, have I? I'm judging it just on this.
Which is fair.
If you've watched the pre-show, Liam, you would have seen some of that shit. Because I saw a man who came out of a resurrection lake.
You told me not to bother with the pre-show.
I said you didn't have to. I didn't say don't bother.
And then the big final match, it was good that there was some blood in it, although that did look fake as hell. But so my other issue with wrestling that I discovered while watching this is you got the two. So there's two wrestlers and they're fighting, and then one goes to pin the other, and the referee goes like 1, 2, and then the wrestler that's being pinned kicks out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The wrestler that's doing the pin, instead of like capitalising on the fact that they've got the upper hand and this guy's on the floor, just sort of stares in like disbelief at the crowd for way too long.
That is weird.
It's so stupid, and I hate how much of wrestling is just lying down. Because it feels like a lot.
That was probably easily the worst match of the whole night. Was the last match?
Yeah.
Which there's not a lot you can say about that. I will say about the blood thing though.
Yeah.
That previously, blood's normally done either with a genuine mistake where someone has been cut open by...
Well, one of the ladies got her arm cut, which didn't look like that was planned. Yeah.
And the other way that they do it as well is where they will hide a blade of some sort, either on their wrist tape or something like that, and they'll actually cut their heads themselves. Yeah. And you can see some wrestlers who they've done it over the years, either they've done it wrong or they've done it too deep, and their foreheads are just cut to shreds. Or they'll cut it the wrong way. So instead of going horizontally, they'll go vertically.
Yeah.
I've heard that they're trying to phase out the razors, though, because it's unhygienic.
Yeah, in WWE, it's very rare that you see any blood, and the only time we would normally see blood is if it's actually a genuine thing.
Yeah. Like I genuinely thought this was more like a blood pellet or something. Just how quickly it was all cleaned up, and there didn't look like there was any sort of evidence of there being a cut on his head at the end anyway.
Well, that's because they try to get the doctors out nowadays to try and... Because the doctor are always at ringside, and if there was I think there was a match a year or two ago, and one guy was bleeding so much that they actually had to stop the match for a minute so they could wipe away the blood and make sure that he was okay, and then they carried on.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't particularly think that blood was fake. It looked to me like he got a cut on his head, which if you get cut on your head, you do bleed a lot, which is why wrestlers used to do the cuts on their heads.
And it mixes with the sweat to make it kind of spread quicker as well.
Yeah, so that felt real to me, and the fact that they got a lot of people in as soon as that match ended, a lot of people rushed to him, which I know could be a scripted let's make it look worse than it is, but it had a little bit of a feel of quick, go towel him off.
Because Brock did a similar thing at last year's SummerSlam. I think it was last year's anyway, or the year before. He faced Randy Orton, and the ending of it was Brock Lesnar just elbowing him in the head, and one of them genuinely sliced up Randy Orton's head, and he bled a lot more than Roman Reigns did.
Fair enough. But yeah, they're trying to stop with the whole bleeding stuff, are they?
Yeah. So if it goes on if it's too bloody, you'll see if the ref try and wipe it away with a towel, or they kind of try and discreetly get a doctor in to look at it.
One of the things I used to love seeing, but I don't think we saw in this one at all, is whenever the ref got knocked out or something.
That's a good point. I don't think we did see that at all, actually.
No, that used to be one of my favourite tropes. Is the ref would get knocked out, and then the bad guy would just wail on the good guy or something sort of.
Yeah, and of course the referees are the weakest people ever, because they just need to be bumped into slightly, and they go on the floor for 20 minutes.
But yeah, so some of it I did enjoy, but then some of it was either just too silly, or there was too much lying down, or I was look, if you were I know it's scripted and all that shit, but sell it better. Don't just look in disbelief for a solid minute. Do something.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like that does happen in most of the matches, but I think the Brock Lesnar match was the one where it was happening the most obviously.
I noticed it in the match before a lot as well.
No, I know. It definitely happened, but with that Brock match, I feel like that definitely jades a lot of it from earlier on, because they were overselling it massively in the Brock Lesnar fight. Every time he tried to pin him, but then there was the whole, wasn't it basically Brock was doing a finisher that no one usually gets up after, and he did it 5 times?
Yeah, they've made it so Brock's finisher is one of the few finishers where actually when he hits it, no one normally kicks out.
Yeah, whereas Roman kicked out of it multiple times, and after having it done onto a desk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess I can sort of see the logic of them being so Brock should be surprised, but it was way too long, and it just makes him kind of look like an idiot.
Which, yeah, I wouldn't say that to his face, but...
Yeah.
Oh, no, hell no. I hope he never listens to this.
Yeah, it was also really obvious in the AJ Styles match, that whole, like, kicking out and looking at, like, oh my god, I can't believe they just kicked out. Now what am I to do? It's like, well, he's on the floor, kick him in the head.
I think you should be like a wrestling manager, Liam.
I don't think that'd be a good idea, because I'd be like, look, we can end this match in, like, 2 minutes. Just get Ronda Rousey in there, break her arm, job done. I mean, 2 minutes for Ronda Rousey would be a long match if you look at her UFC stuff.
That's true. But
I think that's the other thing, is I much prefer watching real fighting than... Like, I appreciate the athleticism of this, and some of the, like, big jumps and slams and stuff they do is impressive, but I prefer watching people actually hit each other.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't like watching people hit each other. I think it's barbaric.
It is.
Well, I'm a fan of both UFC and wrestling, and it is I think you said earlier, Liam, it's a completely different athletic ability, because you need like the added cardio to be a wrestler, and I just think the general kind of mindset as well, because they're doing it for 5 days a week, and they're traveling all over the world in some cases. That is
ridiculous.
So the travel schedule's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realise that there was like so much wrestling content every single week. Because I think like way back, it pretty much used to be like a weekend thing, didn't it? Like they'd have one show on the weekend and maybe one during the week.
Yeah, you would have Raw and SmackDown, and then that pretty much.
Yeah, that was it.
You'll have your small shows, but they'll normally either be taped at the same time or used with lesser wrestlers.
Yeah,
but now you've got
feels like there's a bit too much now.
Definitely, just with WWE alone. So this WrestleMania weekend, you had NXT had a big show on Saturday, which was 2.5 hours. WrestleMania was, including pre-show, 7 hours. Then you had Raw on Monday for the 3 hours, and then SmackDown Tuesday 2 hours.
Ridiculous.
So if you were to watch all of that, which I didn't,
no, that's understandable.
That's a hell of a lot to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's great if you fucking love wrestling. That's amazing that you just get that much content. But for people like that have lives outside of wrestling, and it's a lot to squeeze in.
So when you go live, because when they've come over to London, me and a few friends have gone, it's normally quite a good atmosphere there, but also when you go to the bar afterwards, it's basically a bar full of wrestling fans, who most of which are drunk, and it's just absolutely crazy.
See, that to me just sounds like a version of hell.
Last time we went...
I imagine you would just get suplexed immediately, Liam.
That's the thing. That's the one thing that I really hate about wrestling fans, is when they're like, now we're going to do the moves. It's like, well, you're not, because you're actually doing the moves, and wrestling is about pretending to do the moves. So I don't know what you think you're doing, but it's not wrestling. It's why I stopped wrestling at school, because I was like, this is hurting too much.
Which is, I think, a fair enough excuse.
Yeah, because, there is no way that if these wrestlers actually were doing these moves to each other, the matches would be over a lot quicker.
I mean, they do the move.
Yeah, but they do them in such a way.
Knows how to like fall the right way.
Exactly.
And they know how to throw it in a way that they'll land right and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like some of them, you watch them leave, and some of them do have like pretty massive, not bruises, but like red marks on them where they've been punched and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Kurt Angle said when he first started wrestling, he said in interviews, when he first took his first fall in a wrestling ring, he didn't think he could do it for as long as he did.
Yeah.
Because it was a really kind of tough thing that he'd never kind of experienced before. And that's coming from someone who used to won a gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah. But yeah, I have issues with like wrestling fans.
What we haven't done, Liam, and it is a massive mistake on our part, is we haven't actually asked Sam what he thought of WrestleMania.
Well, I thought we were building up to that. I thought we were getting that, like, our sort of like ignorant, we don't really understand stuff out of the way, and then Sam could come in and be like, right, here's an expert opinion.
Well, this expert opinion is going to drop some knowledge on you.
I'm ready.
No, it was probably one of the better WrestleManias in the past couple of years. The main event, the last match, was easily the worst one and could have been a lot better than what it was. And I would say that about a couple of matches on the whole card. Because the AJ Styles Nakamura one, they had wrestled before in Japan, outside of WWE, and it was meant to be, I've not seen it myself, but meant to be like a fantastic, 5-star match. But they've just got too many people trying to organise matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And matches don't come out as good as they could be. But overall, I think the whole thing was entertaining. And isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that, Sam.
There we go. But yeah, I think that all the ones that you said were good, like the Kurt Angle Ronda Rousey one was good. Like the Randy Orton Bobby Roode US title one. For some reason they chose Jinder Mahal to win it. God knows why. No one likes him.
Yep, seemed a bit weird.
Yep.
I mean, I'd say I think some of those like that one, I don't think they did a good job of explaining the build up to it. So I didn't really know who any of them were, and I didn't really care who won, which was the problem I had
only
with that.
care because Bobby Roode has like the second best entrance in all of WWE, but they didn't even they could have made it so good, and they didn't.
Yeah.
What's his entrance?
He does Glorious, which is an amazing entrance song where he basically stands in a very shiny coat that they shine lights on, and it makes him like sparkle, and then it's just this amazing entrance song. Honestly, listeners and Liam, go listen to Glorious. It is such a good song.
His song is very catchy.
My favourite entrance was the Triple H one.
That he normally does really good entrances on WrestleMania. If you just look back on YouTube on all of his different entrances that he's done,
yeah,
they've all been pretty good.
Oh, and obviously the pancake one was amazing.
Yeah,
and the New Day do pretty good entrances as well. One year they came out of a giant box of cereal.
Fantastic.
And then they came out dressed like Super Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z.
That's cool.
But my question for you guys is, would you watch it again?
I would.
I think if I was just watching WrestleMania, and if I was watching it with other people, maybe I probably wouldn't sit and choose to watch it for 5 hours by myself again.
That's fair.
Which I think is understandable.
But I think it would help to have someone there that could explain the storylines leading up, because that would probably help my enjoyment too.
Yeah. So on a scale of 5 stars, what would you say about it?
Do you want to go first, Ellie?
I'd give it 3.5.
I'd give it 2.5.
Okay, not too bad. I'm surprised with yours, Ellie. I thought you would have hated it a lot more.
Yep, so did I.
And Liam, I would say that's round about what I expected.
Yay!
Living up to expectation.
That's what I like to do.
What did you give it, Sam? What do you give it?
I would probably go with 3.5 as well.
Look at that. I agreed with an expert. You can fuck right off, Liam.
The thing is, the NXT shows that are normally the night before are normally so much better. So when you watch that, it kind of not takes it away from WrestleMania, but you think, why can't these matches be better and be as good as the ones?
Yeah.
But who knows why? There's only one man in charge.
Vince McMahon, and he tried to make the XFL, which was a failed sports thing. So
and he's bringing it back.
Hell yeah!
Whoop whoop! You can jump on that bandwagon.
I'm so excited.
I have to say that, because I watched it on the WWE Network thing, they did a free trial, and it's a really good system. It was really easy. Beyond the wrestling ads that I guess you're going to get in this sort of thing anyway. It's not every 5 minutes there was other ads that I had to sit through. None of that bullshit. I watched some of it on my laptop and some of it on my TV, and it picked up where I'd left off really quickly. So the WWE Network stuff is just really good for, I guess, wrestling.
And they've got a lot of stuff on there as well, because WWE bought WCW. They've got all of WCW's old TV shows and pay-per-views on there, all of ECW's old stuff, and a lot of other companies' stuff that they've bought the video library for, and they've put it on the network too.
Are there any of the ads that we want to talk about?
What ads did you see? Did we see the same ads?
I'm guessing so, the Fighting with My Family trailer.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's going to have at least one good scene.
I kind of want to see it, because it looks pretty cool.
Well, I didn't realise until I looked up that it's directed by Stephen Merchant, which has me a lot more intrigued by it. The 3D masks for Asuka was terrible.
All the weird 3D effects.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen that.
There were a few. Hers was the most obvious, but they did it on a couple of other ones where I was
can't remember what those were.
There were definitely others.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think there was one where some of the lasers were not actually there or something.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it was just a weird thing that you're like, well, you don't need to add that. You have these crazy entrances. Why are you CGIing more shit into it?
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered one of the other ads that I thought looked really interesting was the Andre the Giant documentary.
I've yet to watch that, but I'm going to watch that soon. But that looks really good. And I've heard good things about it as well.
I don't know if there were very many other ads, to be honest.
No, I don't think there was.
Oh, I think there was a weird Snickers one that was terrible.
Yeah, the Snickers ones are normally pretty bad.
Yeah.
I do like that Snickers is like the main sponsor of WWE WrestleMania.
Yep, for the past few years.
It's insane.
Also noticed Rocket League as a sponsor.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
But it makes sense.
But,
Nerds and wrestling go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So this episode of Nerd on Nerd should be the most popular episode ever.
No one's going to get to the culture swap. There's like an hour and a half of you talking about Canada.
Well,
I think on that note, it seems to have fizzled everything out.
Yep.
Yeah, well done, Ellie.
Yep. So we've rated it. Liam.
Yeah.
If people want to tell us why we're wrong about wrestling and why Sam's good at wrestling talk,
Wrong.
how would they tell us?
Wrong.
I guess they wouldn't.
No, wrong. Can we do it right, please?
Go on. What did I do wrong?
Next time on Nerd on Nerd,
Oh, I forgot, yeah.
we are doing, after all this like wrestling fun, we're doing not a 5-hour wrestling match. We're doing so if you want to join in at home, this is going to be much easier on your time. It's a 95-minute movie called Feast.
I mean, 95 minutes, is that all?
That's all.
Is there a 2-hour pre-show I can watch before it?
Sadly not, no.
Is there like a 3-hour after show that I can watch too?
Well, it has 2 sequels.
Oh,
So if you want to consider those as like an after show.
Interesting. All we need is a
yeah.
prequel.
Maybe one day. I don't think there's one, but I haven't really checked. Anyway, if you've seen Feast, if you want to watch Feast, whatever, you can tweet or email us to tell us your thoughts. And Ellie's going to tell you how you can do that.
Tweet us at Nerd on Nerd. Email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. Facebook us at facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod. Yep, good. iTunes reviews is a thing. Don't use that to message us because that's weird, but we'll read them out if you rate us. Or you could write us a letter, but I'm not going to give you my address. You could carrier pigeons are a thing.
Probably need your address for that as well, though.
Oh God. Well, no, I could train some pigeons and then give them to fans.
Jeez, that's true. Right in, you get a free pigeon.
Yeah, those are all the ways, I think. Sam,
so I was just double checking our Facebook link, and it is it's facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod.
Yeah, I got it right.
Did you mention YouTube? I wasn't listening.
Oh, I didn't. If you want to go and watch, if you have ever wanted to feel like a time traveller, go and look at our YouTube because Liam is slowly posting all our oldest shit.
This week that we've recorded this had another special guest who's been mentioned. Their episode has now just gone up on our YouTube channel.
Dan Palmer?
Yeah.
I like the way you didn't mention your YouTube channel, but you mentioned carrier pigeons.
Yeah, I know.
This is the sort of shit I have to deal with.
YouTube.com. Oh, go on YouTube and search Nerd on Nerd Pod episode 1. It's called A Fleshlight.
Or just wait for your carrier pigeon to come in the post.
Or wait for the carrier pigeon.
Yeah, it's not easy to find us, so my advice, once you find us, subscribe to us and you'll never lose us again.
Exactly.
Smart man. Smash that like button.
Sam, if people want to hear more about your 3 new podcasts you're starting, where can they do that?
Probably following me on Twitter, I imagine. I'm not going to tell you what my Twitter handle is. You're just going to have to guess it. No, I will, of course, give it. It is at SamManClassic.
That's classic, Sam.
Yes. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. And after doing 7 hours of watching wrestling, doing 2 hours and 44 minutes of recording a show about wrestling.
I mean, thank you guys for watching. Well, 7 hours for you, Eddie. Only 5 from you, Liam. You've still got 2 hours to.
Yeah, I was told I didn't have to do it, otherwise I would have done it reluctantly. I didn't realise. I thought it would be like 3 hours. I thought it would be like Super Bowl.
No,
no.
I mean, Super Bowl.
Two Super Bowls.
What I don't get right. Yeah, Super Bowl is 3 hours, and you also get this like amazing halftime show. Where was Lady Gaga? That's my question with WrestleMania.
That is. Do you know how many people normally attend Super Bowl?
Lots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because the WrestleMania numbers were big. I think Super Bowl is bigger.
That'll be interesting.
I'm trying to find out.
Because this year it was 78, 79,000 at WrestleMania. But a couple of years ago they had about 100,000 people, or just under.
Apparently, I think the last one, the attendance was 103,000 people.
Oh, okay, it's not bad.
I think.
So they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What's XLV? What number's that? Oh, no, that was 2011. That wasn't even the last one.
Oh, there we go. What a good way to end it all.
What a fantastic ending. Anyone got any final thoughts?
For anyone who's made it this far, well done.
Thanks, Sam. Bye.
Bye. Bye.